I don't care if Monday's blue, Tuesday's grey, Wednesday too, Thursday, well, I don't care about you. It's Friday and we love the darts here at the Super Series and we culminate Group B tonight over the course of the next 10 matches. It's a group right in the offing. There's a real mid-table melee and this is exactly what happened last night. Paul Hogan lacked the killer bite last night. Some good performances didn't yield results and he's stuck pointless. There's a real melee in midfield with 3 players on 4 points. Former Champions Week finalist Alexander Merckx finds himself in the mix, but outside the automatic spots. Sebastian Białecki's evening saw his results seesaw one way or another. A more consistent night would see him in the race. Owen Bates had a finishing masterclass on night 1. If he can find more of that, he may well make a finals night return. But it was Belmont the Brilliant. 4 wins from 4 sees him top of the pile. Can the man from the outs climb to the summit? Yeah, Stefan was the, well, newly named King of Belmonte here at the MODUS Super Series. Matthew Edgar is alongside me here on the balcony. Before we look ahead to the action that we're going to see tonight in Group B, first of all, we've just come down for an amazing afternoon in Group C.
Really good conclusion to the group as well. We had a fantastic play all the way through. It really came down to the very, very last game, and at one point it looked like it was going to be legs and it had to be wins. It was really a to and fro-ing group, but one thing that did come out on top was reputation. When we look at the 2 players that came through, Scott Mitchell and James Hurrell, they're probably the biggest reputations of the people in that group, and they now go ahead to join Andy Bolton, who again, reputation.
Most certainly that. So we are midway through confirming who is going to be into tomorrow night's final. This is how the bracket splits up then. We're going to see the conclusion of Group B later on tonight. We saw on Wednesday Andy Bolton make his way back into finals night and he'll be looking to get over the line this time in that finale. Scott Mitchell, first time for him here, and James Hull, well, he's here on the opening night.
Yeah, and well, when we look at the group and the players that have come through already, I said about reputation as well. When we look at like internationals, tour card holders there from the past, and we've got players here which are going to be quite hard to decide how we're going to split them down already. Obviously, Scott Mitchell didn't play earlier on in the week as well, so it's going to be interesting to see how he goes in there with Andy Bolton, who at the start of the week was just dominating proceedings.
So let's see how the table ended in Group C, because it really was a dramatic run towards the line. Well, what happened was, in the end, James Hurrell coming out, Scott Mitchell coming out. Scott Mitchell coming out winner by winning that final game of the session. James Hurrell had to rely on results elsewhere because Thomas Junghans obviously lost to James Hurrell in that second to last match. All in all, that table, we had Scott Mitchell, 4th favourite at the start of the day to win the the 4th place player in the group, the favourite to go on and win the group, and then the bookmakers ended up being right.
Yeah, he was 7-4 favourite, and myself and Paul Nicholson, we was a little bit confused how that was at the place. 4th place, he had to jump the field. He had to do that in that last game as well because James Hurrell was in a safe position. It was, will Scott Mitchell jump him and move him down to 2nd, or is Scott Mitchell going to miss out completely? I actually managed to catch a bit of a word as you did yourself, and you also got a nice cuddle off of Scott Mitchell as well.
Indeed, I did.
Which was probably quite relieving for him at the time. I think he just needed someone to speak to because actually when he left here, he was really excited, and we played in the same group together at the end of the last series, and Scott Mitchell said at that point, he said he feels like he's learnt a lot from that experience. And then when I spoke to him, he said, I told you I learnt a lot from that experience. And he's won the group, so he's obviously doing something right and he's put something into place.
Is it hard doing this job and then going up there?
Oh, yeah. And you sort of feel different. It's a completely different environment because I spend a lot of time here, mostly in a commentary capacity and occasionally play. Same for Scott Mitchell now. He's probably here more as a commentator, which means you say a lot of things and you feel that there's a lot more eyes on the things that you say and do. Look at when Chris Mason played here. And he's sat in that commentary box the whole time telling people not to apologise for winning legs. What does he do? Apologises for winning a leg. Because there's times I'll say something on commentary because I know it's the right thing. But go by my words, not by my actions, because I'll go and do the wrong thing. As Scott Mitchell will know, he'll do the same probably tomorrow. He'll tell you one thing, and he'll go do something different.
So let's go into tonight's action then in Group B and have a look and see how the table looks overnight. Stefan Belmont leads the way, 8 points to his name, but the midfield is just an absolute, well, it's a minefield really, isn't it?
Well, realistically, you should be looking at this and saying, Paul Hogan's out of it and we're playing 4 players for 3 places. However, Group B never goes that way. I've seen groups like this before. I remember a year ago, around this time of year, David Pallett went into a venue, was bottom of the table, didn't win a game, won all matches and then qualified. So although Paul Hogan's got a big night ahead of him, it's not impossible. We know he's capable of going and winning 4 from 4. And we know, as you can see by that table, that this is a tightly compacted group where the results that he would want to go his way could well do so, because the middle pack are going to beat each other.
Well, let's see what the bookies think about tonight's proceedings then. Stefan Belmont goes off 2-5 favourite. Unsurprisingly, he's got a 4-point gap at the top of the table to go on and win it. Well, Owen Bates still out at 9-1. I suppose it's a difficult one to really lay your claim, isn't it, when you've got someone so heavy price favourite with that lead?
It's the lead that concerns me. Yeah. There's only 8 points available, and he's got a 4-point buffer, so he's pretty much already there. On the outrights, I personally wouldn't be looking at getting involved with something like that. If you've got a favourite here, or a friend, or a family member, and you think, actually, I want to support my friend, or I want to support someone I've supported throughout their career, then small plays for a bit of interest, but it's going to take a big, big task to take the group off him.
Well, it is now bet builder time. This is a compilation of some of the bets that you have laid at home, and we put it into a little bit of an accumulator going into tonight's session. Tonight, paying out just over 5-1, just under 5.5. Just have a look over those selections. Anything that you agree with in there?
Well, there's one thing that really stands out for me when I look at these odds, and that's prediction number 2 and number 3. What these tell me is that the punters at home have given up on Paul Hogan. And I expect that a lot of the popular selections tonight are all going to be about Paul Hogan losing again. Now, I don't think that's going to be the case. I don't see him going through the card losing all 4 matches again. I think he's going to be a better version of himself than he was last night. We know what Paul Hogan's capable of. He's shown us at events like the WWF World Championship or the UK Open, where he's beat the likes of Gary Anderson and prime Gary Anderson as well. So we know what he's got in the locker, and I wouldn't be writing him off that easy.
Well, we're going to see Paul Hogan a little bit later on this evening. We're going to kick things off with Sebastian Białecki in action up against Owen Bates. It was the same fashion that we finished last night's action. It's a mid-table melee, and Matthew Edgar is going to make his way down to the commentary box to describe all the action in the company of Paul Nicholson. Hello, Paul.
Good evening, Henry, and good evening to all who have tuned in. And what a fabulous decision you've just made, because what we've got for you over the course of the next 10 matches is a lovely mix of youth, experience and brilliance. And there will be some pressure as well. Because if we see in Group B what we see in Group B, in Group C from this afternoon, then we are in for a bit of a treat. Białecki, 19, Bates, 20. Here is the youthful component of tonight's schedule. And don't let that fool you, because they've already done bits in the sport.
Sebastian to throw first. Game on.
We have 2 Owens on the stage. One is a referee. One is the master. And this is Białecki from Poland, who amassed 24 points in Group A this week and did not qualify because of the brilliance of Andy Bolton.
180.
That didn't take long.
$120.
As far as 180s last night are concerned, a small matter of 22. Not bad.
99.
Matthew Edgar has joined me for this first match. He will be alongside me for the whole thing. And I think you categorised what we've got here, Matt, very well. I think we are going to get bits from Paul Hogan.
99.
But ultimately, we can't ignore the fact that everybody else is in a better position to take a top 3 spot.
Yeah, and these are 2 of the players that are in those positions at the moment, both on 4 points. So hitting the ground running tonight is going to be quite important. And both of these doing so in the scoring phase of this leg.
120. Owen record 122.
Not the first 120 that he's hit this week. Oh, he's at it again on the 18s for a finish. He did this twice last night.
108.
Not on this occasion.
Sebastian, you require 20.
This is a look at the future. Both under the age of 21, but both looking to be elite over the next decade.
Game shot on
And
the
it's
first
Białecki
leg.
who gets first blood.
Sebastian Białecki.
He did well last night to win by 4 legs to 3 against Owen in the final game because it was against the darts.
Second against
And
Owen
it was a
to throw
really good
first.
contest as well. A massive finish from Owen Bates in that contest of 148.
60.
Gave him a chance of getting the win, but Białecki was just too strong in leg 7.
For a lot of people, when you speak to
44.
either industry experts, fans, a lot of people, big fans of Sebastian Białecki, and it's a lot down to this action and this throw that he's got. It just looks very
140.
relaxed and at ease. Not much can go wrong.
If you could buy a throw, I'm sure he would be a
85.
top shelf option. It really is a beautiful thing to see. Owen's a little bit more idiosyncratic, but don't let that think you
140.
that he's not up to the task against the more technically conventional young man from Lodz.
95.
steady
Only
all
record
week.
161.
As Białecki. He's been very dependable. Whereas I would classify Bates in his first day of the
97.
week yesterday as a bit more explosive.
I think that's a good definition actually for his season as well, because it's not been something that he's had a consistently brilliant season of.
140. Only requires
He
64.
really struggled the last time he went out to Germany. He didn't really pick up much prize money out in that event. But explosive.
Game show on the
Can
second
really
leg. Owen Bates.
Put just that one day together where he'll go win a title, or like he did last time when he got himself through to Champions Week.
So it's Sebastian to
14
throw
dart
first.
leg there, just
Game
to
on.
be the case in point.
Yes, he beat Leonard Gates in the final in the previous series.
140.
Bates last night averaged 89.82. That's pretty solid. Best average
93.
95.57. But he did let himself down on the doubles a little bit, but it was all about that game he had with Stefan Belmont.
59.
Game 5, where he had 13 darts at a double and did not hit one single shot. Hence why he was only 29% on his doubles for the whole night. I hasten to say, if he's going to be in the
35.
top 3, those kind of mistakes can't be repeated.
$100.
Stefan Belmont will be in match number 2, taking on Alexander Merckx. A win there will pretty much confirm
100.
his place. 10 points, I believe, is the total required to get your place booked into Saturday night. It'll just be what position will he be taking?
Yeah, 10 points will be safe for him. And
140.
he's taking 2 points away from Merckx as well. It means that the best that Alex could do would be 10 points.
140. Sebastian requires 62.
I've got a sneaky suspicion this one's going to be 4-3 again.
10 scored, yeah.
Earlier in the week, you would have got 20 here.
42. Only require
Chance for Bates.
133.
What's he going to do? Downstairs? Love it. You get the 57. What do? You go 2 double 19s.
101. Sebastian,
It's
you
one
require
section
20.
that you need for that shot.
Friend or a foe? He had to move, and he's just moved back to his original set position.
Game shot on the third leg.
I like that from
Sebastian
Sebastian Białecki. He didn't
Białecki.
throw from the new position to try and work round it. Just a man who's in complete control of his emotions.
Fourth leg, it's Owen to throw first.
I think he is the most intelligent 19-year-old dart player I've ever seen. He's way ahead of
57.
a lot of other people who have got way more experience than him. He's a real darting machine.
I remember that
100.
first UK Open where he came onto the scene. He hit a 9-darter. Having a practice, and
140.
Dave Allen came through and he was asking how to pronounce his name properly. I thought, what's going on here? And then word got around very quick that there's this new young Polish lad on the block who's just gone and popped in a 9-darter on debut.
180.
Speaking of proficiency, we've already got 2 maximums in this game.
81.
That's 1 per player. It was a really interesting start for Sebastian last night, actually, because he
100.
lost 4-3 after being in a very commanding position against Alexander Mertz. 3-1 up, but after that, it was Mertz and the
96.
doubles.
Sebastian, you record
A
121.
lot of accuracy gave him a vital opening win. Bullseye for Białecki.
78. So when you
Will
record
Bates get a shot at said
127.
bullseye? There's your answer.
55. Sebastian, you require 43.
He's going to stick with plan B, which is fast becoming plan A.
This is for a breaker throw.
Game show on the
And
fourth
that is the
leg.
biggest leg won so far in
Sebastian
this game.
Białecki.
A breaker throw gives him a big opportunity to get this game won. A 15-darter there from
Fifth leg, it's Sebastian to
Białecki.
throw first.
He's
Game
now
on.
got 2 opportunities on serve to wrap this one up and start the day perfectly. Owen Bates playing his part. He's averaging 101. But he's 3-1
60.
down. Welcome to Week 7 Group B.
And we're only about 25 hours
44.
away from telling you who's in next week. We say it every week. Most of the time, we mean it.
140.
But let me tell you something about the announcement for tomorrow. You won't want to miss it, because
140.
is possibly the most exciting week that I've seen. Not just this year, but maybe
100.
since the very start of this project in February 2021.
I said upstairs not long ago with Henry
139.
about this week, saying that the people that have gone through on reputation. Big reputations going through. That's what we're getting next week.
140.
Some major reputations coming to town.
Białecki is not slowing down
134.
He has a chance
Sebastian requires
to win
61.
by a distance, to swell his leg difference of +1.
45.
His first chance of
Only
that
require
has
44.
evaporated.
I mean, Bates mops himself down with his big towel. It's a double-double, but not the one he would have been going for. That was a dart at single 12.
A double-double with no trouble.
Game shot on the fifth leg.
No trouble
Owen
at all.
Bates.
That's one of the breaks of throw that Owen Bates is going to need to get himself back into this one. And I do reference that towel.
Sixth leg, it's Owen
because-
to throw first.
He actually said to me earlier
Game on.
about how warm it was in there, and he didn't realise how warm it was. And then when he was having a practice yesterday up on the stage, he actually ran back to the hotel to get a towel because he knew how hot it was going to
45.
be as the night went on. Which, again, when you talk about players with limited experience, to hold that nerve together, to leave the venue and go and collect that towel,
140.
rather than just getting on with it, I'll just think about it tomorrow, I'll worry about it tomorrow. He knew it was going to be a problem, and he made sure we put it right before it became one.
97.
Yeah, some of those older players would have got somebody else to do it for them. I think you know who I'm referencing. But interestingly for me,
96.
all week long, Białecki has been poker-faced. He hasn't shown any emotion at all, but even when Owen Bates hit that double 12, double 10 finish, He had to
100.
crack a smile. He's wrestled the darts away here in leg 6.
87.
You just wonder if he's going to get any more match darts. Is it going to be a case of deja vu in game 1 again? 3-1 lead.
59.
Chance to win. Didn't win yesterday. Chances there again. He will come back.
100.
This time to finish 78.
No, it doesn't look like he's going to be leaving much
43.
of a shot on here.
Sebastian
Only
requires
43 leads in
78.
157. Bilecki will have a bit of time on this.
He thought that was in for a second, and so did I.
66.
Last
Only
night, we saw a
157.
148 from Bates to stay in the match against Białecki. Really? Oh, my
Goes on
word.
the sick flag. Owen Bates.
Bates has just hit Białecki with a bat. He
Seventh
can't
and final
keep
against
doing this to
Sebastian to
people.
throw first. Game
If he
on.
does, he's going to get a new nickname. That is an unbelievable finish to stay in the contest.
I'm not sure hitting him with a bat does it full
57.
justice. I think he hit him with a bat, propped him up, and hit him again.
Henry said that Bates was giving a masterclass
96.
in finishing last night. He wasn't kidding. Last night was not a fluke. What has Białecki got to do to get rid of this guy?
100.
He's had 4 match darts. And he's been punished for missing them.
100.
You seriously rate this boy, don't you?
I do. I do. I think he's going places. I think he's got a ceiling that's well beyond anything he's shown us so far.
46.
Would you classify Sebastian as a bit more on plane? So he's more of a 89 to 92 average all the time kind of person, whereas Owen's going to give you maybe an 81 average now and again, but he might even put in 111.
100.
And they're the most horrible players to play. When you don't know what to expect from them, or you don't know when they're going to come to life. I was just saying there that Bilecki was going to have time on the 78 finish.
95.
He had no time. He got it wrong, missed his 78, and that was all she wrote. A 157 finish out of nowhere.
I'll tell you one thing, Matt. I have not contemplated the possibility of Białecki not
32.
being here tomorrow night.
Only requires 70.
But this is a blow if Bates can bank 70.
When we talked about time, the time is now on the side of Owen Bates.
54.
We know that Białecki can't take 166. What a start to Group B.
96.
3 players to qualify tonight.
Only requires
And a win
16.
here for Bates. And he will stay in second position, but on points on his own.
No score.
4 match darts.
Sebastian requires
each.
70.
That leaves 25. Double 8 has been difficult for him, so he's gone for 10s. And it comes up
shot
trumps.
on the match.
My word, what a
Sebastian
game that
Białecki.
was. I want to see both of these guys go through tomorrow night, because if they play each other again, we're in for a treat. That 157 from Bates was seismic, but ultimately, Białecki had enough in his pocket to get that 70 check out at the end to get 2 invaluable points. We'll take a well-deserved break now, and when we come back, it is the man at the top, Stefan Belmont, against Alexander Mertz.
Welcome back, and what a way to start the night. That was Sebastian Białecki getting the better of Owen Bates by 4-3 in an absolute cracker. Both players giving absolutely everything in that one, but it was the Pole who got over the line in that mid-table tussle. It's the man at the top that we're going to see next, Stefan Belmont in action. He takes on Alexander Merckx in an all-continental battle being watched by Matt and Paul.
We can't wait for this one, Henry, because after that first one, what else are we going to get tonight? Back comes Alexander Merckx. He was good at times last night, but walked away with only 4 points. He probably thought that maybe he deserved a little bit more, but this guy couldn't get more. He had a full bag. And if he bags another win to start...
Okay, first leg, it's Alexander to throw first. Game on.
He'll be safe. Double digits, and you're all right here in Group B. But it has to be said,
96.
yesterday when Belmont was playing in every match, he afforded his opponent many chances, and nobody
58.
was able to take those chances enough. Let me just read this out. He played against Hogan. He allowed Hogan 11 darts at double. He played Bates. He allowed him 13 darts at double. He played Białecki. He allowed him 13 darts at double.
96.
And when he played Merckx, he allowed him 10. Nobody beat him.
57.
You don't need to be a genius in this sport to figure out why Belmont was the winner of the table. He was given way too many opportunities to come back to the hockey.
Same story we saw
57.
last week as well with Scott Taylor. He would just get missing darts and then he just mopped it all up. And that's the name of the game. It's taking your opportunities. It's not a race to who
140.
gets to a double first. It's who hits the double first.
Perfect segue, because that's one side of the coin. And just like Harvey Two-Face, there's another side.
100. Alexander, you reckon 109.
Belmont, when going for doubles, was excellent.
93.
In fact, 16 hits from 30, that's 53% for the night. That's mightily impressive. And he had his best daily performance as an average as well. So maybe it was the perfect storm for him.
Alexander requires 16.
People didn't take their chances against him, but he took his.
Game is on the first
And
leg.
Alex has taken his to start this one off.
Maybe that theme's coming to an end. They say all
Second
good
against
things
Stefan
come
to
to an
throw
end.
first.
That's a good thing for Stefan Belmont.
In the words of the Shawshank Redemption, no good thing ever dies.
60.
This has been a good thing for Stefan this week. Getting into Group B itself was an achievement.
140.
Being top after night one was a great achievement. But he can't take his foot off the gas, that is for sure. Let the likes of Bates, Białecki
42.
and Hogan do their things. But if he gets a couple of wins tonight, the likelihood is he's going to win the group and feel
40.
very comfortable about where he's going to sit going into finals night. He's seen his countryman Thomas Younghans this afternoon fall by a very, very fine margin. So he's flying the flag for Switzerland solo all of a sudden.
45.
He opened the night the 2-5 favourite to win this group. And when Henry asked me up on the balcony, I just couldn't oppose it. It's so hard to
140.
oppose somebody when there's only 4 matches to play, when they've got a 4-point lead already. So only 8 points available. Do you think you'd have opposed it if he was up there, or would you have just... No,
Nope, not at all. I think
100.
the amount of positivity I was getting from Stefan last night and the amount of experience he's got over the last 5 years,
54.
I think he understands just what he's got to do. But he must be careful. He's got to have urgency in the first half of play tonight. Otherwise, people are going to sneak up on him.
there is a danger that he walked through the door today feeling the job was done and it was just fulfilling obligations. Remember when Scott Walters did that in Group C?
Oh, yeah. How could we forget?
59. Stefan, you require 114.
His biggest finish of the week, 150. Not going to add to his
58.
ton plus
Alexander
bingo card of
requires
finishes for the
68.
week with that one. But Merckx is looking at
Game
fours
shown the second leg.
and is showing
Alexander
no
Merckx.
hesitation. 2-0. They're not missing tonight in the early stages. But one thing I will say
Third
about
against
Alex,
Alexander to throw
he
first.
was 32%
Game
of his
on.
doubles yesterday, even though he had his worst doubling performance against Stefan Belmont in Game 9.
97.
Have a guess, Matt, who had the best running average of the night.
I'm going to go with Alexander Merckx.
What a great guess.
92.
91.29 for the night. He was the only player to average over 90.
140.
And you have to say it, somewhat harsh for him to start fourth tonight, purely because of leg difference. And he's doing a pretty good job of getting rid of that negativity early here.
58.
He's finding a way to convert that performance into results, which is ultimately the hardest thing to do.
94.
A lot of the time you'll see people that master the game and the throw and the technique and they play really good on the practice board, or they can go up and they can put in a good performance, but the thing they don't have is match play. Being able to command a game, being able to play the
Alexander record
moments.
170.
Something he started off doing well so far tonight.
60.
That's a brilliant 60. It was this finish that Thomas Younghans hit a little bit earlier, which kept him in the running for the top two spots in Group C, but ultimately
99.
two heavyweights from England,
Alexander record
Horrell
110.
and Mitchell, were too good. Double 16.
78. Stefan, you require 160.
Belmont could do with a bit of an accelerant here. This is a slow start.
This could be a moment. It's tops.
120.
Well,
Alexander
it
requires
looked like he was going to
32.
get the accelerant, but he just stalled at the last
Game shown the
moment.
third leg.
And now that
Alexander
poses its own
Merckx.
problems. Because Stefan Belmont was top of the table here. Clear on points. Miles clear on legs.
Stefan to throw
But if
first.
he is to take a heavy defeat here in the opening game, his next games against Sebastian Bilecki, we've already seen tonight so far, beat Owen Bates. He could get
140.
drawn back to the pack.
Yeah, it's possible. You could say that Group A
96.
is a 10,000 metre race. Group C is a 5,000 metre race. This is more like a 1,500 metre race.
140.
It's shorter. It's truncated. It's exciting.
46.
Imagine the possibility of maybe a 4-1 victory for Alexander. That would bring Belmont back to +8 in his leg difference, and it would get Merckx onto all square. not gonna be 4-0.
180.
This is a much better leg from Stefan.
81. Stefan, you require 41.
2 140s and a 180 in the scoring phase of this one. Isn't just 41 after 9. We did see
Game
the
shot
11
the fourth
dart get
leg.
broken earlier,
Stefan
but we
Belmont.
just added to that column again now. Stefan Belmont, when we was just starting to say he needed to find something, and
flick it's
painting
Alexander
the
to
picture
throw
of the
first.
dangers that
Game
it
on.
may possess, he finds an 11 dart leg.
Listen
60.
to see, he might need another one. This time against the throw. 3 more legs needed to get the victory. And he's going to have to break twice.
If there was one negative, there's never
85.
really a negative in an 11 dart leg, but ideally, in an ideal world, you want to do that against the throw. Doing it to
119.
hold, Alexander Merckx will just stand at the back of the stage and think, oh, well done, but it's now my throw. You can dismiss it a lot better. Good darts, you can just ignore and deflect them off, or you can just take those blows into the gloves when
100.
it is literally just a hold.
especially when Merckx is doing this.
140.
He really doesn't hang about. It's a very individual action as well. That hand position is very high. Brings the dart towards his right collarbone.
60.
It's a very assured action, and the backlift is minimal.
85.
I think Belmont is staring at that 4-1 defeat, unless he gets something huge here, and Merckx starts to do what happened yesterday.
96.
Belmont's opponents
Alexander Require, 97.
at the ends of legs.
He would need to do it a lot.
81. Stephen
He's set
Require,
himself up on double 8 here for the
160.
match. The double that Owen Bates missed in the last one to wrap it up, and then he was punished.
Second crack at a 160 checkout, and this time it's nowhere close.
79. Alexander Require,
Belmont
16.
beat Alexander 4-1 yesterday, and the result could be reversed.
No score.
But then
Stephen
again, it might
Require,
not be.
81.
Is this a repeat of the last match? 3 missed match darts at the double 8, and the punishment on one of these combination shots.
What a marker for double 12.
57.
Can't get out of jail.
Alexander Requires, 16.
And
Game
Merckx
shot
gets it
out the
done.
match.
4 legs to 1.
Alexander Merckx.
This is going to be really interesting tonight, because Belmont was very comfortable on 8 points with a 4-point lead overnight. But that lead is only 2 now over 2 players. With Białecki and Merckx, they are knocking on the door of the top spot, possibly in round 2. We'll say hello to Paul Hogan when we come back. Crocodile Dundee will be taking on the Master after the break.
Every Saturday, we open our doors for our weekly finals night.
For a unique and intimate darts experience.
Meet the Dart Stars and even the team off the telly
Here at our purpose-built venue in Portsmouth.
every single Saturday evening.
Tickets can be booked via this QR code.
Or at www.dartshop.tv for a very small booking fee.
Follow us at MSS Darts on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok.
For all the latest ticketing news.
All you need to do, log on, book, turn up, and the action gets underway from 7:30 p.m.
So what are you waiting for?
Get your tickets to the darts.
We look forward to welcoming you to the MODUS Super Series very soon.
And if the quality is anything like tonight, you want to be here on Saturday evening. Before the break, we saw Alexander Merckx get the better of Stefan Belmont by 4-1. That's Belmont's first defeat in the group, and it makes things very interesting at the top of the table. It's the first appearance this evening for Paul Hogan. He'd be looking to get to winning ways. Winless on his first night. He takes an Owen Bates to look at a chalk his first win on the board of the night after losing out to Sebastian Białowieski in game one of our evening session. So let's get into this one in the company of Paul and Matt.
Thank you very much, Henry. Great to welcome back the 59-year-old. Weighing in at 205 pounds, it's Paul Hogan.
Okay, first leg, it's Owen to throw first. Game on.
I don't know if he's 205 pounds, but what he's looking for tonight is 8 points. Pressure's off. He's not expected to get through, but there is pressure for everybody else.
135.
Try and make the top three. And we welcome back to the commentary box someone who has worn a Hulk Hogan style shirt on that Alexandra Palace stage.
81.
Matt, what do you think has got to change tonight for Paul Hogan for him to squeeze into that third spot?
He's a consistent player, Paul, and he's always going to give you sort of a mid-range performance, but I think he just needs to hit the ground running. We know he can't afford to lose one because Alexander Merckx now holds that third position, and he's already on 6 points. Hogan loses this, he can only reach 6 points. So we know he has to win this fixture.
100.
Doubles have never really been something you'd associate as a problem with Paul Hogan. It's just that lack of real firepower. He's very good at landing the jabs.
100.
But struggles with that big haymaker blow. He's got to come out swinging.
Yeah, I agree. And if you look at all of the metrics from last night,
180.
they don't make for encouraging reading. He won the least legs, only 5 last night, had the lowest running average of 85.48, and he had the lowest percentage on the doubles as
140.
well.
Only requires 16. Game shot on the
He
first
finds
leg.
what he couldn't find
Owen
in the
Bates.
first game, and it's a very fast start. He's
Second
very,
against Paul
very
to throw
tall.
first.
For
Game
20
on.
years of age. I was always told when I was younger that you would stop growing at 21. Still don't know why that is.
But did you eat your green beans?
78.
No. Ate a lot of beans.
See, it's the green beans, you see. That's what... You must be a big fan of those, Owen Bates.
121.
I was always told to eat my spinach by Popeye, but I didn't. Couldn't imagine anything worse than canned spinach.
95.
What do I hit it all in one?
Very good idea.
60.
Owen will want to get out of the traps in this game. Make no mistake about that. Because after hauling himself back into that first game of the night,
140.
he blew an opportunity of getting himself onto 6 points.
60.
If he doesn't make 6 points in this one, things aren't going to get any easier. He's got Merckx in game 8, and before that he's got Belmont in game
100.
6. It's getting to the stage, and I'm going to wait until the end of this game to think about the scenario, but it might just
60.
be 4
We
names
require
on
88.
4 bits of paper, throw them in the air and see what falls the first 3 times. This could go to the end game tonight as well, which is Merckx Białowieski.
Game shot on the
Great
second
shot
leg.
from Hogan.
Paul Hogan.
Great equaliser. And 15 darts is about as good as it has gotten over the last night and a bit.
Delegates Owen to throw first.
I do feel if you got in that situation where you threw the paper up, when it landed,
96.
you'd probably want to do it again. Because you probably wouldn't be happy with the outcome you got, so you'd I'll just do it again.
So we go best 2 out of 3.
140.
Although there is a sort of psychology element there, isn't there? Because people say if you can't make a decision, you're meant to flip a coin. You know, do I want brown sauce or red sauce? I'm going to flip the coin.
140.
But actually, it's not because the coin's going to decide whether you want brown sauce or red sauce and the assigned factor. As the coin is up in the air, there'll be a split second where you'll prefer an outcome
40.
to come.
Yeah, it's how you feel about the outcome that actually tells you the most about the situation. Sometimes you actually know
95.
what outcome you want, but you're trying to leave it to fate.
And it comes up brown sauce. You just have the red sauce anyway. I think that'd be what would be happening here if you tried to predict
140.
in this
Only
group
require
in that way. I don't think
170.
you'd really be satisfied.
Someone's got to go home. In fact, 2 people
96.
are going to go home. 2 people in this group have made very, very large journeys. Someone has made a large journey. Bates is a couple of hours from here, whereas
136. I mean,
Paul
requires
Hogan's from just up the
74.
road. Loves double 16,
58.
from what I've been told.
We require 45.
Well, we said Paul Hogan's going to need to find a bit of explosive darts. Had some very explosive darts in this leg.
Game shot on the third leg.
Wraps it up.
Paul Hogan.
Again, first time of asking on the doubles. Getting himself into this group. Well, certainly getting himself into this game. That
Fourth
is
leg,
a
it's
break
Paul
of
to throw
throw.
first. Game on.
Penny for the thoughts of Owen. He does have a problem, does Paul.
180.
It's not that. It's his leg difference. -11 overnight. He has that
43.
beautiful schedule tonight of game on, game off. Game on, game off. I really liked that when I had it in Group B back in October.
60.
It's a really good rhythm. So if he is going to get into a rhythm in this first game with his play,
100.
there's nothing to suggest that he can't go on and get the 8 points and still squeeze in somehow. But he is going to need somebody to stop what they're doing.
100.
Białowieski's already on 6. Merckx is already on 6. It might have to be Bates, who has a night like last night that Hogan had.
121. We require 161.
I did warn at the top of the show to our punters at home who a lot of those selections was all about Paul
41.
Hogan losing or losing heavy. I didn't expect that he was going to have a night exactly like last night. And, well, he won 5 legs in the hole last night. He's already won 2 so far.
57.
We've only played 3.
We require 120.
Stefan Belmont won 11 more legs than Paul. Lovely layup. And 3-1 to Hogan is beckoning with those darts that have seen plenty of dartboards over the last couple
44.
of decades.
We require
I don't
20.
know exactly how old they are, but I can estimate that they've probably been playing since the turn of the century.
Game is on the
3-1 to Crocodile
Paul Hogan.
Dundee. And Bates has now got problems. No matter what happens in this game,
Fifth leg, it's
Bates is
Owen
going
to
to
throw
remain
first.
in
Game on.
4th position in the table. But at the conclusion of this game, he's only going to have 2 games left, which means
91.
that 8 points would be his best possibility if he loses here. That's not good news.
121.
And he would have played 2 of his fixtures already tonight, where he's got to then sit back and watch people above him go and pick up points as well.
We were remarking this afternoon
60.
that the bookmakers had Scott Mitchell as favourite for Group C when he was 4th overnight. And we thought, that's a bit ambitious.
100.
He won Group C. Last night, they had Owen Bates as the rank outsider.
134.
He's in a bit of trouble.
He is, and he needs to find something, but he does only need to find 1 break of throw.
100.
He's looking at deficits most of the time he's coming to the board.
140.
He's going to have to clear that 76. Paul's been really consistent in this game. He's been hovering in the high 90s, early 100s.
100. I mean, you require
all game long.
76.
Double top. Stay in the match.
56.
The guillotine might be coming
We
down.
require 80.
So he's been doing it all game long. The game might not have much longer.
$15s. It has to be.
65.
Bullseye to win.
55.
He casts a shadow
Oh,
over
and you
the
require
bull.
20.
And Bates is lucky to be back.
Game shot on the
He's
5th
still in the
leg.
game.
Owen Bates.
Part 1 of the recovery for Owen Bates is done. But this is probably the
See if they
biggest
get Paul
part
to
of
throw
the
first.
equation.
Game on.
Breaking the throw of Paul Hogan, a man who's averaging 96.8. How often does Paul Hogan do that? He has one sloppy dart,
125.
shakes the head, then goes treble, treble. Normally, when people shake the head, it gets worse.
I think with all of his experience,
140.
he'll have been in the position many times where he's missed the bull for the match and still had to come back in the next leg for a job to be completed. That's why he's not too perturbed
125.
by what has gone on before. Some players, when they miss a match start, regardless of where it's at, they'll feel negative
100.
for the rest of the contest. The bullseye is the hardest target to hit with an open shot. He threw a good dart, he didn't hit
60.
it. Still got chances to win. That's the way you look at it.
Owen Bates is keeping pace. Needs a treble.
57.
Doesn't find it. Was that the little bit of opportunity where Owen Bates needed to find? Is that just that little bit of timing that's lacking in the game at the moment that's going to see him kick on to that sort of
55.
next level at this stage?
That's 3 darts pulled in this leg. All into the 5.
43.
Look on the bright side, I want it to finish.
136.
And he's going to get a look at that 161. You can't ever write him off on a
40.
shot like this.
And you
He's had
require
the 3 highest finishes of this
161.
group.
He had one of them today. Just in the opening game against Sebastian Bieletsky, a 157.
121.
But that
We
is a
require
perfect
96.
setup, and Paul Hogan making a mess of this at the back end of the leg.
Yes, he is. Can he tidy up on his favourite double 18? It's been so good to him in his career. He does find
Game shot
9s,
and the match.
and Bates is in trouble
Paul
now.
Hogan.
Because Hogan is only 2 points behind him, and his chance of getting into the top 3 is still alive. Thanks to that really good display on the doubles. You can see it was 50%. His highest checkout with the last 3 darts of the contest. And Hogan wins by 4 legs to 2 prior to a Belmont-Białecki battle, which will be their 5th meeting of the week after this.
Welcome back to the MODUS Super Series. Before the break, we saw Paul Hogan register his first win of Group B and condemning Owen Bates to his 2nd successive defeat of the night. As you can see, this is how things have progressed so far. Sebastian Białecki getting the better of Owen Bates in the last leg decider. Sandwiched in the middle of those defeats for Bates was a 4-1 victory for Alexander Merckx against Stefan Belmont, and this is what it does in terms of the table. So Belmont still out on top on 8 points, but that lead has been reduced in half. Białecki and Merckx hot on his tail on 6. Bates 4 points to his name, but has played a game more than everybody else so far. So it is a bit of trouble time as far as he's concerned. Next up, though, we are going to see Stefan Belmont in action up against Sebastian Białecki in a win for the Swiss, and he is into tomorrow night. Watching this one, Matt and Paul.
We're still here, Henry, and so are these two. They've been here all week, just like most of us have, and they are close to ending their qualifying campaign. But
okay, first leg, it's
with 3
Stefan
matches to go,
first. Game on.
there is still a job to do. Now, if you look at who has qualified for Saturday night already, we have a theme already. Andy Bolton has played in one group. That group was Group A.
25.
Scott Mitchell and James Hurrell are qualified. They played in Group C only, so one group for them.
140.
These two are topping Group B at the minute. If they both get through, they will be the only people who have played two groups all week.
87.
Is that a benefit because of the amount of darts they've played? Or is it a drag because they've played so many matches?
123.
I think that's a question that is very individual. Some people will find it a benefit and they just want to keep playing all the time, where others
56.
would rather have the time off or have the shorter schedule. I think it's no one-size-fits-all sort of formula with that one.
140.
I think you could interview all 6 players and we'll probably get a complete 50-50 split.
Fair point. And with these two, they've had 4 matches already and it's 2-2.
99. Sebastian Requan, 98.
Belmont won last night and on Monday. But on Tuesday and Wednesday, Białecki had the better of him. Every single game they've had has had a minimum
Games on the
of
first
6
leg.
legs.
Sebastian
So watch out
Białecki.
for that, as Białecki takes the first leg in 12.
Second against Sebastian to throw first. Game on.
He really has been starting matches brilliantly this week. I picked up on this pattern
58.
the last time he was here. He always seems to have his peak performance in his second game of a session.
77.
It wasn't the case yesterday, so I can retract the word always. But most of the time, when he's had that settler in game 1,
140.
he's had a bit of time on the stage, he seems to find that extra gear in his second contest. And he did that earlier in the week when he posted his best average of 101.9. He's yet to better that,
57.
but we know he can get better than that.
At the start of the show, I
96.
said I wasn't sure I could see Stefan Belmont getting drawn back into the pack. Actually, the question as well when I came down. You agreed that you couldn't see it coming. However, if Sebastian Białecki is to beat Stefan
59.
Belmont here, he's right back in the pack.
He is. Of that, there is no question.
171.
Proper darts from Białecki. Owen Bates has lost his first 2 matches tonight. I'll tell you what he wants. He wants Białecki to absolutely demolish
90. Sebastian
this guy.
Requan, 36.
Bring his leg difference down. Drain his confidence. Make him
Games on
doubt
the second
himself,
leg.
and it's happening.
Sebastian Białecki.
This is a big display. Bates can only get to 8 points
Then I get Stefan to throw first.
from his
Game
current position. Paul Hogan can only get to 8 points if he wins all of his matches tonight. If Belmont wins 1 game,
100.
he's fine. He keeps losing. He's going to look over his shoulder a bit.
That's not what you want to be doing. You only want to be
100.
focusing on your own game. Keep yourself on the practice ball. You don't want to be watching the screen. You don't want to be knowing what the other players are doing. But when it becomes out of your hands and you need the results, you can't help but be aware of what's going on.
100.
I do get the feeling that Białecki is really cool with being the chaser.
57.
He was very much okay with it in Group A, chasing down Andy Bolton most of the time. He didn't quite get there. He just ran out of matches.
92.
And we are talking about a person who had a perfect display on Wednesday. 5 wins from 5 against a really tough group. And he's at it again. He's looking for one of the biggest
180.
6-star conversions on the board.
Belmont lost his opening game 4-1.
59.
He's in big,
Especially
big trouble here of another big
164.
defeat. Because this would be a double breaker throw as well for Sebastian. One treble you'd feel would be enough in this situation. And a
100. Does he
big,
require
big last start.
150.
He keeps playing at this speed. I'm going to start calling him Sebastian.
$92. Sebastian requires 64.
For 3-0. Double top. That single was a bit out of the way, but he did snag it.
44.
Just took him out of his rhythm. That re-grip is something he
Stephanie
didn't want.
require 58.
Just let go of it far too early. Ended up flying up, only just inside the 8 in the end. But this was his strong point yesterday, Stefan Belmont.
Game show on the
It's his
third.
strong
leg.
point again there.
Stefan Belmont.
Clings onto his throw when he was looking in a spot of bother.
Fourth leg, it's
He's a lucky
Sebastian
boy.
to throw first. Game on.
Could well be 3-0 down. I mentioned those doubles against Belmont yesterday. Every single time
99.
somebody's played him, and I'm including tonight as well, every player has had double-digit darts at double. Merckx had 10 shots and hit 4 in that second match of the night.
39.
Białecki's halfway there already. He's had 5 shots. If he gets more, he's got to be more ruthless than yesterday. Because he
97.
only hit 2 from 13 in Game 7 on Thursday. That expression tells a bit of a story.
$70.
I think the same story can be told in the numbers.
138.
Just leave that there as it clicks up to 109. That's a chasm. Every now and again, a lower average can cling on to someone who is
140.
overperforming from what we've
167.
seen this week. But this is too much. Not going to go for it. Very wise.
Yep. 85.
He wanted more than that. But show me a dart player who doesn't like a 170-point lead.
It's just
42.
struggling to land a blow. He
Sebastian
has got that
require
leg on the
82.
board, which means he's still in the game.
Yeah, 19 scored.
But if it continues the way it's going in terms of the performances that people are putting forward,
42.
he's only going to go one way in the end. And I'm trying to work out the options there. His left tops, it's one of his favourite doubles.
Imagine the comfort of having a finish.
58.
And you've got 9 darts for it.
Sebastian, you require 40. No score.
Doesn't get there.
Stefan, you require 152.
Is he getting 12 from a finish? Hold your fire. He had a look at a 160 in his first game. Edged tops
128.
for it.
Sebastian, you require 40.
And it's tops that Białecki needs. Double 5. And another re-grip.
30.
Doesn't like
Stefan,
doing
you
things the
require
easy way, does he?
24.
Just when you think he's getting control of the situation. But this was the story of last
Game
night.
show on the fourth
Player
leg.
misses,
Stefan Belmont.
hits.
This is weird. It's just like last night. You're absolutely right, Matt.
Fifth leg, it's Stefan to throw first.
And already Białecki's had 12 darts at a double.
Game on.
It's only game 5 or leg 5. It can't keep happening. If it happens again, Belmont will be
58.
safe. It will be 2 spots from 4 up for grabs.
59.
Playing the same person every day. And when you've had ups and downs against them, I think it's fair to say that sometimes you're sick of the sight of certain people,
100.
even if you like them. I remember playing Championship League darts over 10 years ago, and I played Mark Walsh every morning for 6 consecutive tournaments.
85.
Love Mark to bits, but by the end of the 2 weeks that we'd played, I was sick of the sight of him. At one point we said, this is becoming a regular thing. 10:30 game this tomorrow morning, Mark? Yeah, okay, see you then.
94.
He said something, Matt, about Sebastian not doing anything the easy way. Categorised
60.
perfectly by that first game tonight against Owen.
It looked like he had it all wrapped up early, and then Owen Bates came back at him. Actually missed 4 match darts himself to win that one. Bieletsky could have been off the stage now, 4-0 winner.
100.
Instead, he's in big trouble of actually blowing this lead and completely having this game turned around on him.
60. Stefan, you're 149.
Stefan Belmont is in a strong position to go 3-2 up, and it's not because those stats have rose since we last shown it you. He's only averaging 77.
65.
12 darts thrown, 1 treble.
I suppose it's not that his stats have gone up, it's that Sebastian's are plummeting.
81. Stefan, you require 84.
How many lives has this guy got? Sixes.
78.
He's in the basement.
Sebastian, you require 156.
Based on what we've seen in this leg, that wasn't likely.
45. Stefan, you require 6.
You're not going to win many legs with only 2 trebles in it. That's for sure.
18 darts thrown, and he's still on 111. It's a long way off where he was earlier in this match.
Oh, well, now he's got to go back to 3-3. He was thinking 2-2-2, and he's missed the single by a good inch and a half. It's because he can't see much of the 6th segment.
3.
This is a freebie for
require
Bieletsky.
111.
If you can plug this 111, it'll be a dagger to the heart of Belly. Watch out.
71.
Bieletsky was almost about.
Stefan, you require 3.
It was almost a return of the favour when Sebastian Bieletsky missed all those opportunities. But 3 is arguably one of the hardest shots to take on a dartboard. It's sat a
Game
little
shot
bit
on the
awkward,
fifth
but he's
leg.
found a way
Stefan
into that
Belmont.
double one. And somehow, from 2-0 down, he has clawed himself back
See if
into
they get
this. He's now
Sebastian to throw
winning.
first.
But
Game
yeah,
on.
It's not because of that increased performance. It's because Bieletsky has completely lost his level.
There is not an encyclopedia on earth that explains sport that can explain this
66.
game. There's still 16 points between them in the averages. I'm not even sure there's a German word for befuddling.
140.
You said it well. I gestured to you when he hit that shot just above double one. It was too flat.
85.
It didn't go in as a perfect guide, but he still managed to use it.
Just powered past it, and he put a bit of pace on the dart and just
100.
defied the natural throw that he would normally have, which, adapting, good thing.
45.
Really has struggled in the last 2 and a bit legs. He's not even scoring tons anymore.
91.
He's not even staying straight anymore. Lots of 5s and 1s creeping in. And here we go again.
93.
Got to put
Seven,
that
you're
right at some point,
170.
even if he loses this game. He's got Paul Hogan in game 7 and Merckx in game 10. That could be a shootout at the end of the
58.
night. Or is there one last twist? Before we go to Hogan
60.
and Merckx in
Stephen,
game
you're
5.
112.
I'm not going to sit here and say that Belmont's played well in this game. He hasn't. But by hook or by crook, he's been given
40.
enough opportunities
That's the record, 152.
to get over the line.
And he will be given another one here. 72. So a match opportunity. And that's something I didn't think I would be
85.
saying.
Stephen, requires
Just a couple of legs
72.
ago when Bilecki looked like he was about to go 3-0 ahead.
You can say what you like as to whether he deserves to get this win. But all he got to do is get 4 doubles.
66.
He's missed his chance.
Sebastian requires 67.
He's left himself in the basement again.
This is where that loose last dart could come into play from Bilecki because he only gets the 1 dart at the
Game
double.
shot on the
This
sixth
time, it's
Sebastian
all he needs.
Białowski.
That, what you're watching over these last couple of legs, is the game of darts.
7th and final leg.
It's not
Stefan
borderline
to throw
weird,
first.
it's just weird.
Game on.
2 mismatched darts from Belmont. Very hard to figure this one out.
95.
They've had 28 darts at a double collectively. They've only hit 6.
It's a tough one to figure out, but
57.
whoever walks off the stage with a win, going to think jackpot. And the loser's going to come off there feeling they've had the opportunity. Regardless of who loses this game, they will both feel like they should win.
140.
Told you this game was going to go long. Every game they've had this week has been a minimum of 6 legs.
85.
And that has plagued him the last 3 legs. Scores of 85. Not finding 2 treble visits. He's got more 2 treble visits in this contest than Belmont. But that's because he got them all at the start.
40.
He desperately needs one now. Good old treble 19 comes to his rescue. And it's on as even after 9. Having the darts. It can be your saviour sometimes.
140.
And that's a glorious 2 treble visit from Belmont. But here comes Bolt.
140.
The last kick of adrenaline.
86.
In their head-to-head record for the week, potentially, they might even both get through. But this is a chance to qualify for Stefan. Hit the bull and hit it quickly.
36 scored, yeah.
That's a ticking time bomb, that one.
$61.
Is he going to be pegged back?
85.
Urgency. That's what this is. That's what's causing this performance now. The finishing line is there.
He's only gone and done it again.
Match.
He's survived match
Sebastian
starts not
Białowski.
once but twice. And he is now on 8 points as well as Belmont, who's lost his first 2 games of the night. Based on those statistics, you might feel that he doesn't deserve to win that match. But Białowski, the survivor, is 100%. As to how, I'm not sure. But when we come back, it's going to be Paul Hogan. He's up against Alexander Merckx, who is trying to get to 8 points himself.
Welcome back to the MODUS Super Series, where Sebastian Białecki has halted the charge of Stefan Bellman. It's a 4-3 victory for him, and that means Stefan Bellman, the man who won all of his games on Thursday, has lost both of his opening games on Friday. So it's mid-match time. It sees Paul Hogan in action up against Alexander Merckx. Merckx can join the party on 8 points of victory in this one, and it means there'll be a chasm between him and Owen Bates in fourth. Watching this one in the commentary box, Matt and Paul.
Yes, let's get on with game 5 then. And let's see what happens next, because this one is going to give us a very different complexion
Game on!
to our table, no matter what happens. Hogan wins again, he goes to 4 points to join Owen Bates, and he will be within striking distance of the top 3.
100.
Merckx wins, with 2 games left for everybody, will be 4 points ahead of the
60.
bottom 2. This is a very big game, and everybody will be watching this. Everybody's got a favourite as to who they want to win. And make no mistake, Owen Bates wants Hogan to win this.
38.
Let me just give you another ingredient to that spice mixture mixing up over there. If Paul Hogan is to lose,
97.
he is also eliminated from this event.
I don't think he'll mind this scenario because he came in with a knockout mentality anyway.
59.
But he did start the night well. Taking out Bates 4 legs to 2. Average of over 93. 50% on doubles.
58.
Improving on what we saw yesterday. And that is something that you said he would do.
Yeah, I think our viewers at home maybe wrote him off a bit too early. And that short-term form, yes, it's easy to follow that. But at the same time, this is a guy 59 years old that's probably been playing darts for 61 of those and playing them at the very high level.
77. Paul, you require 164.
That tickled me, that one. A 59-year-old's been playing for 61 years. He was playing in as an amoeba. I actually can't remember a time when Paul Hogan hasn't been playing darts.
We require
at the top
106.
level. Such a lovely chap. What does he fancy? He does like double 18. Hence why he's left it. Things are starting to work.
Paul Hogan,
who's got a lot of friends in this part of the world. He used to play for Hampshire. More recently played for Berkshire.
Second against
in
Alexander
county darts.
first. Game on.
Still very useful, and he's probably got at least 15
140.
more years of top-level darts in him.
Mentioned at the top of the show some of those runs he's had, such at the UK Open. Remember him taking on a very prime Gary Anderson.
131.
Back-to-back runs at the UK Open, reached the last 16 phase in 2017 and 2018. At one point,
55.
he was the king of the qualifiers. He was getting through pretty much every year down to Minehead.
Does it surprise
100.
you to know that he's only got one ranking title in the BDO WDF system in his career?
Very much so.
25.
When you consider the level he's played at in his life, the amount of times he's played for England. We'll get onto that next.
98.
Because Merckx has been dominating this second leg. A man who's played for his country in the last week and successfully winning the Six Nations title with the Netherlands.
42. Alexander required 32.
Doesn't move until now.
Game shot the
cushions
second
it
leg.
into the 32
Alexander
bet for 1-1.
Merckx.
Yes, interestingly, Paul Hogan
So gets Paul to throw first. Game
played
on.
for his country 10 times. Since 2001, he has been a regular fixture in white and red.
95.
He won the BDO Gold Cup back in 2013, but that's not a ranking title. That's a domestic title. He
61.
won that in 2013 over James Wilson, who around that time was the BDO #1. Still a very big established tournament, but the only ranking title he's got, the
100.
2005 British Classic, which was in Kettering, not far from your neck of the woods, Matt.
137.
And the person he beat in the final is someone you've already mentioned. A certain Gary Anderson.
So 2001, when he played for
26.
England, did they still have to wear those horrific red trousers?
I wouldn't be surprised. Would you like to know who was in that team?
133.
Littered with talent. This is a really good squad. Gonna hazard a guess to a couple of the names.
100.
2001.
Alexander Require 170.
Martin Adams.
Check.
43.
Can you get another one?
Good 100.
Good
Alexander
leave.
Require 127.
Well, Merckx is on a 127, and for the game,
102.
very
Paul
close,
Require,
and Hogan
80.
has been warned. He's been good on doubles tonight. And
Game
he is
on the
again.
third day.
He's 100% in
Paul
this
Hogan.
game. So much sharper on Friday night. Okay.
Kevin Painter.
Fourth leg, it's Alexander
Yes.
to throw first.
I
Game
like the way you think. That was the infamous time when we had one of the greatest games in the history of darts. I remember reading about it in Darts World magazine. I thought it was a typo.
45.
It was Kevin Painter versus Kelvin Painter. 8th of April 2001. And Kevin
59.
Painter lost that game 3 legs to 2.
Chris Mason.
Negative. I'm going to run through
140.
because in the home internationals that Paul Hogan played in, he played in one of the games. He didn't play in
60.
both. But the team he was involved with had the likes of Wayne Mardle, Alan Warren a little,
140.
just because he was a PDC player back then, didn't stop him from playing for England. Tony O'Shea, Mervyn King, Andy Fordham, Steve Beaton, Kevin Painter, Dennis Ovens, Martin Adams,
140.
and John Boy Walton. He was in that team. We're talking about greats of the game.
100.
Mervyn King. Unbelievable. In a team with people like that. Do you want to know who the other person was in that team that he replaced? Let's wait, because double 18's beckoning. Oh, he's at double
42.
1.
Alexander Require 44. Game shot on the
Good
fourth
shot
leg.
from Alex. He is
Alexander
sticking in there
Merckx.
because Hogan is playing decent here. And another tight match is imminent. You got any ideas about
Fifth leg, it's Paul to throw
who
first.
he was substitute
Game
for?
on.
From because he played against Scotland and he beat George Dalglish when he made his debut. Fine player. But the person who played
100.
against Wales, who didn't play against Scotland, was
Andy Fordham.
100.
Steve Coote. You might not think that that's a big name, but Steve Coote from Bolton was the first person on the end of a live
36.
televised 9-darter by Sean Greatbatch at the Dutch Open, just a little bit after those home internationals,
140.
roughly a year later.
But right now, he'd like to replace his situation with anybody else in this group,
36.
because he is now staring down the barrel of defeat here. Alexander Merckx making a move on the Paul Hogan throw. And a reminder,
140.
if Paul Hogan loses this match, he is eliminated from the possibility of qualifying.
Needs to fill his boots. And now,
133. Alexander
still not enough to get to a
121.
finish. Fascinating.
105.
That was really creative. I love to see something different when an opponent is not on a finish. Let's see how you can get that shot.
85. Alexander
Is to go
requires
within
16.
Of a vital 2 points.
Game shot on the fifth
That's
leg.
where he goes.
Alexander Merckx.
We may have separation from the top 3 to the bottom 2, and Owen Bates
Sixth leg is Alexander
is
to throw
staring
first.
at a
Game
very
on.
perilous situation in this table all of a sudden.
It would mean Owen Bates needs to win big
60.
in that next game against Stefan Belmont. Hogan would be out. We'd nearly have the top 3 confirmed. It would just be big wins for Owen Bates.
100.
And then he's going to have to hope that things go his way.
Tell you what, Matt, Stefan Belmont's not safe. Not at all.
137.
Just imagine the urgency of Owen Bates against Merckx in Game 8. That'll be his last contest. Imagine the
100.
urgency of Bates in Game 6 against Belmont. Imagine the turnaround in legs if he gets a big win.
98.
We see it every time. You get a perfect campaign on day 1. Do not rest on your laurels because you can be caught.
85.
Just when you come into the room, you feel you've got this big opportunity and you're already there.
92.
But actually, he came in with a 4-point gap. He now could be ending this game with 2 players on the same points as him. The top 3 could all be on 8.
I'm not entirely sure
55.
how
Alexander records
tonight could
114.
have gone worse for Belmont.
98.
Hogan needs this,
We
otherwise
require
he's toast.
161.
Started the game very
81.
strongly,
Alexander requires 16.
but Merckx is too strong.
Shot on the
And he
mark.
eliminates Crocodile
Alexander
Dundee.
Merckx.
It's now a 4-horse race for 3 spots, and Merckx is in the top 3 in a very comfortable position. He's still got more work to do, and we will see more from him after the break. But that 91.76 average and 40% on the doubles, it's more strength from the Dutchman, and we may be seeing him on Saturday night.
Every Saturday, we open our doors for our weekly finals night.
For a unique and intimate darts experience.
Meet the Dart Stars and even the team off the telly
Here at our purpose-built venue in Portsmouth.
every single Saturday evening.
Tickets can be booked via this QR code
Or at www.dartshop.tv for a very small booking fee.
Follow us at MSS Darts on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok.
For all the latest ticketing news.
All you need to do, log on, book, turn up, and the action gets underway from 7:30 p.m.
So what are you waiting for?
Get your tickets to the darts.
We look forward to welcoming you to the MODUS Super Series very soon.
Welcome back, everyone, where we are halfway through our matches at the MODUS Super Series this evening. Before the break, we saw Alexander Merckx get the better of Paul Hogan by 4 legs to 2. This is what we've seen elsewhere so far this season. We've seen a couple of victories for Sebastian Białowieski, 2 4-3 successes, which has put him in a very good position as far as the table is concerned. Alexander Merckx similarly having a good night, and so that is why we see the table as it is. Stefan Belmont top of the pile, 8 points to his name. Sebastian Białowieski and Alexander Merckx have caught him up despite Belmont having that 4-point lead overnight. Belmont's next up in action. He takes on Owen Bates. You can see him there on 4 points. And, well, it's a simple case of he has to continue winning if he wants to stay in the race. Watching this one in the commentary box is Paul and Matt.
Yes, welcome back to the second half. And now Owen Bates has been given a very tough task. But his opponent has got a very interesting scenario facing him right now, because it looked comfortable overnight. It doesn't look comfortable anymore if he loses to Owen. Still the same applies for Stefan Belmont. If he wins this game, he
First leg, it's
is
Owen
through.
to throw first. Game on.
And there's another thing as well. So are 2 other people.
This is win for Owen Bates, or we know the 3 players that will be going through.
It's not so much about what other people will do. It's the fact that Owen is running out of games.
85.
Lose here, all he can do is get to 6, and there's already 3 players on 8. And we will have our lineup for Saturday night with 4 games to spare.
180.
Is it fair to say that that first visit was very different to the second?
Especially the very last dart. That looked very nervy and edgy, like he knew it needed to be big. He was up by tops.
90.
But right back on swing here. And I've used this word a little bit tonight, the word urgency. Never been more fitting than now for Owen Bates.
55.
It has to be a win. Nothing else will matter. And realistically, it has to be a big win.
Yep, that's true. And looking at the leg difference between these two,
58.
it's a difference of 8 legs. -1 for Bates, 7 for Belmont. It's still
60.
good enough for the top spot for now. But in this early portion of the match, can you imagine if Bates gets a 4-0 win to reverse what happened in their fixture yesterday, because Stefan won 4-0?
98. I mean, it was 146.
All of a sudden they'd have the same leg difference with Bates only 2 points behind. And we're talking about a player that knows about pressure on this stage. He knows how to get through it.
77. Stephen, you were going 170.
The biggest finish of the lot. Won't be going on this occasion. So the big win Owen Bates needs.
44. I mean,
Needs
required
to start
69.
Now. 2 16s.
37.
There's an early
Stephen, you
chance for
require
Belmont.
126.
That's now 14 darts. Sorry, make that 15 darts missed by Owen Bates against Stefan Belmont in the 2 games they've played.
Games on the
Oh,
first
boy.
leg. Stefan Belmont.
That's gotta hurt. There's a tinge of not
Second
again.
against Stefan to throw first. Game on.
seems quite poetic the way this group's been going. All seems to be going to trend. Bieletsky and Merckx sat in the back room would have loved that shot just as much as Stefan Belmont did. Because one thing you do in that practice room is you're very aware of what's going on the stage.
140.
You have a screen in there so you can watch the games. There's also a league table in there, and the players will have a little look and try and work it out. And they'll be aware that if Owen Bates is to lose this, we will know our full lineup
59.
for Saturday.
Two English players
100.
through, one Scottish. And if it is to be the top three as it stands, it would be one Dutchman, one Swiss, one Pole. A nice collective continental mix.
96.
And you just wonder if people are turning up tomorrow night, who are they going to be cheering for? Probably Scott Mitchell. He's the most local.
180.
Hillbilly Hurl might have some fans here. And remember, you can be here if there are any tickets left.
140.
Check that out.
Only require
If you haven't got any
81.
plans for Saturday night, come and join us.
56.
Now, if this goes,
70 require
Owen
107.
Bates might need a walk.
We'll need a treble. Doesn't find it. So Owen Bates, an opportunity to get the
56.
breaker
Only
throw
require
straight
25.
back.
Two fours.
Game shot on the
That's
second
more like
leg.
it.
Owen
He
Bates.
finally gets a leg against Stefan this week. But just to emphasise your point,
So it's
because
Owen
of the
to throw
leg difference
first. Game
between these two, with games running out, he can't really afford to let Stefan have much more.
140.
I don't think it's Stefan really that he's going to be chasing unless Stefan was to take a big defeat to Paul Hogan. It's probably more Bieletsky and Merckx who, legs difference-wise,
94.
much more catchable. Bieletsky going up against Hogan in the next.
180.
Something is starting to happen here. That proximity to the 60 is getting a lot more consistent for both players.
180.
Fourth 180 of the match so far. 3 for Bates. The first one there for Stefan Belmont. Definitely
134.
urgency.
Biggest 180 hitter of the week, Tommy Lishman, is not in Saturday night. We'll have all the stats for you come the start of the show tomorrow from 7:30 on the MODUS
Only
Super
require
Series YouTube channel.
47.
If you want to see the semi-finals and final, it will be live on Sporty Stuff TV. Over the top for his favourite double.
Game shot
There
on
it
the
is.
third leg.
2-1
Owen
Bates. Things are getting better. He goes from a 15 darter to a 12.
Fourth leg, it's Stefan to throw first.
That average is climbing. Belmont was a master at staying in a match with Białecki with an inferior average.
56.
It's a better performance here, but he's still inferior compared to his opponent.
60.
Belmont walked into here today. Played for 1-4. 8 points on the board, a 4-point cushion. He was the 2-5 favourite. I couldn't find a way to
140.
oppose him. But after the 7th lap of fixtures, he might be nowhere near that top position.
100.
He's in trouble here for potentially losing 3 matches in a row. And that huge leg difference that he had just slowly being chipped away at by the group.
100.
Look at that rangy style and that leaning over. I would love to know, via the use of
84.
technology, because he's standing 7'9.25" away from that dartboard. But how far away is his hand when he reaches it out? It's probably halfway.
92.
Of everybody I've seen in the last few years, there is a young man who leans over
140.
and is throwing from the shortest distance.
113.
Imagine where Bates would be in this game had he taken that first leg.
Game shot.
He hasn't got the fourth either.
Stefan Belmont.
2 big finishes there from Stefan. He won his opening leg with a 1-2-6 on the ball.
Fifth leg
Back
gets
that up
Owen
there
to
with a
throw
113.
Maybe the belief levels of Bates are starting to wither.
57.
Because when you're seeing your opponent do 126 and 113, you think, I'm just running out of opportunities.
It's not just that, though. It's also when you look at the
100.
form line of the game yesterday. That will have bearing on this. When you look at the league position, that will have bearing. All that just adds extra context to that thought pattern for Owen Bates. That's
60.
just, maybe this ain't my day.
Just because you've won a week before doesn't mean you're going to win this week.
58.
There is a bit of a pattern occurring when it comes to our combatants for Saturday night. Another glorious maximum
180.
from Owen. He's got 4 in this game. 180s for sure. As they say in Yorkshire, doubles for
81.
no. 100% for Belmont. That's why he is 2-2.
125.
Well, there is a pattern occurring when it comes to Saturday night. If Belmont wins this game,
180.
there will
Only
be
requires
only
79.
person here tomorrow night who was won a week before in Portsmouth. A flatty.
39.
He does that so
70 require
quickly.
82.
Quicker than anybody. Flowing that flat trajectory dart so he doesn't block the tops.
Owen just nodded in the background. I think he's expecting it.
Game shot on the fifth leg.
He's got
Stefan
exactly
Belmont.
what he expected there. You could just see those sort of wounds that you was talking about before where
Sixth leg
the
gets Stefan to
expectancy
throw
of just
first.
it's going wrong.
Game on.
I think he understands that he's looking at the exit door now. Belmont is finishing better than Randy Orton in this game. He is lethal. But one more leg for him,
83.
and you will have 6 players into Saturday night, not necessarily knowing exactly which group they're in yet.
57.
But Alexander Merckx would be the only person who was won a week here before, giving great opportunity to 5 other players to get their first weekly win here,
100.
including Belmont, including Białecki, including Bolton, Mitchin and Hurrell. Oof, what a final it would be.
92.
Bates once again needs to dig deep. That was a breaker throw from Stefan Belmont, so he is throwing to try and serve this out,
52.
confirm the lineup.
But that leg difference is still a curse. The best he can do is win the last 2 legs. And still, even then,
140.
his leg difference would only improve to even. And the only upside to that is that Białecki and Merckx are only at +2 and +3.
He would need a big favour from Paul Hogan, who is
96.
playing significantly better tonight than he did last night.
Every game is going long tonight. Shortest game we had, game 2, Merckx against Belmont. That was 4-1.
140.
Everything else, 6 legs or more.
170. $96.
You know what he's
Only
going to do,
requires
Owen, if you
72.
miss this? So don't miss it.
he gets one dart. Going to be at double 16.
40.
That was so
Stephanie
close.
requires 74.
He doesn't want to say goodbye, but he might have to.
$42.
But he finally misses.
Only requires 32.
Gives Owen a second crack.
One dart left.
60.
He's not able to find it. He started his night with
Stephanie
missed
requires
doubles. He might
32.
be ending his group with missed match doubles.
He's had 25 darts at a double against Belmont over 2 games. That's too many. Stefan can't finish him off.
The darts was away.
Requires 60.
He thought that was done. Loosens up the shirt. Takes a little bit of time this time to compose himself. Addresses the board and gets the result.
Owen Bates.
Owen Bates is still in this one. Not just in this one, he's still in the group.
Seventh
for
and final
all his
against Owen
amazing
to
finishing in this game, the 2
on.
Tumplers finishers, he wasn't able to convert the match points. That would have finally seen him confirm his place
85.
into Saturday night's final. We go on.
He's had qualifying darts in 2 matches now. 2 consecutive matches.
85.
Can you imagine the feeling if he wasn't qualifying tonight? Had that happened?
Well, he is
58.
not just getting drawn back into the pack, but he is playing his 7th lap. Bieletsky and Alexander Merckx have now joined him on points. If he's not able to get the victory here against Owen Bates, he's coming off the top of the table.
140.
Not a mathematical certainty, but more of a prediction.
60.
Very tense out there, and it feels like it's been tense in here all day. Still getting over the whole Hurrell, Mitchell, Younghans
45.
situation from earlier. Not to mention Josh Richardson, who narrowly missed out.
45.
Starting to lose the line and the weight. Couple of dodgy visits. 60 and 45.
Just one treble in the 12 darts he's thrown so far. That's not good enough.
140.
He must join Belmont in the finishing zone after this. Otherwise, that could be that.
95. Stephen, you require 91.
Outsider chance, but by normal equations, you'd say Stefan Belmont is going to get 6 darts here at the 91.
That leaves 82. That doesn't.
Go.
That's it then.
Shot and the match.
You've got your 3 from Group
Belmont.
B. And the first through is Stefan Belmont. He's taking Białecki and Merckx with him because he has single-handedly taken out Owen Bates by beating him twice in 2 days, albeit by 4 legs to 3 tonight. So there it is. We've got 4 more matches for you. Białecki and Hogan next.
Welcome back to the MODUS Super Series, where Stefan has sealed his place into finals night. In fact, the King of the Alps has been the kingmaker as far as Group B is concerned, because that defeat for Owen Bates now eliminates him from qualification. We knew Paul Hogan was out of the running early on this evening. So those three players at the top of the table, they are now all through to Saturday night's finale here at the Live Lounge in Portsmouth. Next up for us then, Paul Hogan in action up against Sebastian Białecki. Watching this one, Matt and Paul.
Yes, it's all said and done, so Białecki can relax. He's going to be through, but he has a mission on his hands.
First leg, it's Paul to throw first. Game on.
He'd like to win the group. Hogan knows he's not coming back tomorrow, so he can relax to see whether he can take one
125.
out on his younger opponent of 40 years.
When we came on the air, I stood up on the balcony with Henry Deacon, and he asked me a couple of questions, and I said sometimes we'll answer two different ways. I'll answer as a player and I'll answer as a commentator.
43.
This is one of those situations where, sat in this chair, I will say the only thing that matters is getting through to finals.
90.
Standing the other side of the wall in the practice room, all I cared about was winning the group. It wasn't about just qualifying. I wanted to win the group. And
99.
it'll be interesting to see which of the players have that attitude, where it isn't just about qualifying. Who wants to go through as the group winner? It
58.
does have perks in regard to how finals night will break down.
Perks rhymes with Merks, so maybe he's going to win the group.
55.
A really interesting word that Henry used there, kingmaker. Not really sure what he meant by that. Apparently a kingmaker is a person or group that has great influence on a
60.
royal or political succession without themselves being a viable candidate. Kingmakers may use political, monetary, religious, or military means to influence the succession. I'm going to say that's a compliment for Stefan to say he's a kingmaker.
95.
Gives me thinking it was a chess
We
turn,
require
maybe.
103.
Level 17. Maybe the same kind of route here for
57.
Sebastian.
Sebastian
If he doesn't get the 60, he'll have
117.
to go south. But he does get it.
97. We require 46.
Double 18 for the first leg then. Double 9 got him his first win of the group.
28.
But it doesn't get him the first
Sebastian
leg.
require 20.
Just struggling to find that consistency at that high level. Paul Hogan is going in and out of it.
No score. We require 18.
He's got opportunities here.
Games
Go
on the
straight
first
for it
leg.
and hits it in
Paul
one.
Hogan.
And it would probably be so poetic and how this group has been going if Paul Hogan was to go and record a big victory here.
Second against Sebastian to
which,
throw first. Game
had Owen
on.
Bates been able to have converted, would have made this quite a wide open race.
A bit of a strange game they had yesterday. 4-1 to Sebastian. Hogan struggled
140.
on his scoring. He wasn't getting down to a double much at all. Only had 2 shots. In fact, he's already had more shots at a double in this game here than he had in
100.
yesterday's entirety.
$135.
Let's have a little look forward then. Who's your winner?
95.
Give me a reason why. Because we do now know who's going to be there.
I'd like to say Andy
97.
Bolton, just because he's so consistent. But I think with the line that we've got,
95.
we
Sebastian
could see a couple of
129.
explosive moments. I wouldn't be surprised if our winner comes from Group C.
64.
I like the way you think. Mitchell or Hurrell will be fancied. We hope you can join us
100. Sebastian
to watch the
required.
qualifying matches
65.
from 7:30 tomorrow night. Or should I say tonight? It's past the midnight hour. It's double top.
25.
That's another
Will you
miss for
require
Sebastian.
111?
He's now missed 6 darts at double in this match already. Double top. That sees
Game
Hogan
on the
double his
second
lead.
leg. Paul Hogan.
Restoring pride a little bit is Hoagie tonight. The thought of
Fella
him
gets
walking
Paul
away
to throw
with no
first.
points from a group,
Game on.
unfathomable. But unfortunately, we have seen some strange records broken this week, or indeed equalled. Thomas Younghans left the building today almost apologising for the
85.
fact that he had lost 22 straight legs in Group A, which equalised that record. He actually apologised to me for
41.
not qualifying for Saturday night. I'm not really sure why. And then we had that record for Adam Atkinson, unfortunately. Only
80.
1 win. 25 games. It's a long way back to Hartlepool.
140.
Until that, it was 23. So we've had it twice where a player has won just 2 matches across their 25. But Adam Atkinson now takes that award,
100.
or wooden spoon, whichever way you want to put it.
This is a good recovery.
140.
He's going to need more of that stuff. Otherwise, Crocodile Dundee's going to gobble him up.
68.
Didn't you tell me earlier that Henry knows something about fighting crocodiles?
Evading crocodile attacks, it was, because
How?
it's obviously a skill you need in Portsmouth.
140.
I wasn't made aware of that when I first came here. Been coming here for years. Haven't seen a crocodile in sight.
140. Sebastian required 40.
Double top.
Game shot on the third
That's more
leg.
like it. First
Sebastian
hit at a double
Białecki.
in 7 attempts. He'd like to remain undefeated tonight.
We'll get Sebastian to throw first. Game on.
But unfortunately for him, it wasn't meant to be.
46.
He was undefeated on Wednesday, not yesterday, not tonight. But the thing about being undefeated at some point, you want it to be
100.
Saturday. Because that's where all the big money is.
That's where that golden ticket is as well, to get yourself through to Champions Week. A lineup that is filling up. We will
60.
have our 7th player confirmed tomorrow night. Or should, let's say if you're watching in the UK,
121.
tonight.
You remember when Paul Hogan got his 9 darter playing for England back in 2017?
80.
Do you remember the 2 players he played in the home internationals that weekend? 2 good friends of ours, actually.
100.
Played Martin Phillips. Battle of the Old Timers back in 2017. And Paul won that game 4-3. Good contest.
140.
But he played spectacularly well, beating Alan Suter against Scotland.
83.
One of the nicest people in darts.
Gone on to some really good stuff as of late.
Hasn't he just? Scott Mitchell was in that squad.
80 scored, yeah.
James Hurrell was in that squad.
95. Boy required 97.
Sebastian levelling up then.
38. Sebastian required
It was a bit of a lazy dart, and he understands that exact statement because he should not have missed that 20.
60.
Białecki
Boy
misses 2 of
required
them.
59.
The miss on the 20 means You will only get 2 darts at tops rather than coming back with all 3.
Game
Oh,
shot on the
that's
4th
clinical.
leg. Paul Hogan.
I don't know how you feel about that, Matt, but that for me is the ideal double 10. Middle of
5th leg,
the
it's
bed,
Paul to throw first.
just inside
Game
that outside wire. That's the exact dart you want.
Pinned with perfection.
We saw an Adam
on.
Atkinson
95.
double top earlier. It was in the bottom right corner, and I said that he missed his target but still got the bed that he wanted. I get the
99.
feeling that Hogan hit that double 10 in exactly the same spot he was looking at.
$40.
When you were growing up, did you have a trusty set of barrels that you had for quite a few years?
I don't think I did, and I don't
58.
think we really had the options that we had now. You used to get a catalogue through, didn't you? And you'd go through photos in a catalogue and pick one out and get them sent to your door, and that's what you'd go with.
140.
Some catalogues didn't even put the actual photo of the size of the barrel in, so you could even get like an idea. It was just like a photo of it that covered half a page.
96.
That used to be the most exciting day of the year, when the Red Dragon catalogue used to come through the letterbox. I'd
100.
spend days just looking through it. I couldn't afford a set. But having that catalogue, it was exciting.
140. Paul, you're 126.
People of Sebastian's age will never understand that. Paul will understand that.
$31. Sebastian, you require 108.
This is to stop Paul Hogan from getting a match-winning chance. Double 14.
94.
Pushes the wrong side of
Paul,
the
you require
wire.
95.
How hungry is Crocodile Dundee? Double 5.
Go.
He's only going to win it 4 legs to 1.
Paul Hogan.
He shrugs the shoulders, but it's a very good performance. He didn't have the best average in that game. He didn't need it because his doubles were so good. And again, it's a performance here in Group B where somebody misses too many darts at the outer ring early. So we'll go forward to our next game, which is Game 8. Owen Bates and Alexander Mertz. Next.
Welcome back, everyone, to the MODUS Super Series. Before the break, Paul Hogan notched up a 4-1 victory against Sebastian Białecki. Another game, which, as the boys in the commentary box described, was a tale of missed doubles. Well, it's a final run out this week for Owen Bates as Alexander Merckx. A couple more games of him before a finals night appearance tomorrow. Let's see who wins this one with Paul and Matt.
Yes, let's see. Can
Okay,
Owen
first
go out
leg
with
is
a bang?
Alexander to throw first. Game on.
Or will this be another good performance for Alexander, who already looks a bit more relaxed?
45.
He carries a little bit of intensity with him, but now that he knows he's going to be back on a Saturday night for the umpteenth time, he's going to be the person under the microscope, potentially, because he's the only person who's got it done on a Saturday night here before.
140.
That is something Owen Bates has done as well, but he won't be going through. This is the last time we're going to see Owen for this campaign.
55.
I'm pretty sure we're going to see him again in the very near future.
44.
That's one of the benefits of winning a week, because you're firmly on the invitation list if you've had success here.
140.
He's young, he's brash, he's confident, and for the next couple of months we wish him the best, but as for Series 4, he's done.
$97. $140. I only record 118.
Very fast pace about this game. When you mention about feeling a bit more freer, I think that's what we're seeing here. Just that little bit less deliberate
99.
and a little
It's
bit
only
more
required 41.
pace coming into the game.
Yeah, a little bit more fluency about it.
Game shot on the first leg. Alexander
Alexander the
Merckx.
Great Merckx. Is that his nickname?
Well, it
Probably
should be.
should be.
Second against Owen to throw first.
You think about some of the Dutch talent that is not on the PDC Tour.
96.
Alexander goes under the radar. I know that Wesley Pleisier, Barry Van Peer and Jelle Klaassen and some others will probably take precedence,
100.
including Christian Kist at the minute. But don't underestimate just how consistent Alex is. Feels like every time he comes here, he makes Saturday night.
100.
It's not easy to do. These groups getting harder every time we put on a new series.
122.
These two do have something in common. When they played here previously and won, it was week 2 that they won, but in different phases.
40.
This is a little bit further into the campaign.
140.
Still plenty of qualifying to go before the Champions Week, which starts at the end of July. You're marking your calendar. Champions Night at the end
133.
of Champions
Alexander
Week is on August
139.
5th. It's going to be a sweltering summer night. And somebody's bank balance is going to swell something rotten.
73. Only record 132. Yeah, 3 scored.
He said, is that a 3? He almost knew that it was a 3, just wanted to ask, just in case it wasn't.
40. Alexander requires 66.
Two 16s again.
Game shot on the second leg.
He's on a roll.
Alexander Merckx.
Making Owen feel even worse than he already does. When somebody scratches their eyebrow,
So look, it's
that
Alexander
is a
to throw
classic
first.
body
Game
language sign that they're not comfortable.
137.
Sort of feeling this situation where he knows that his race is run and your opponent's hitting everything, you kind of just want it over with.
100.
As far as the rest of his season is concerned,
137.
what do you think he's going to be focusing on? There are plenty of opportunities for him potentially with the Pro Tour as an alternate player.
91.
Opportunities with the Challenge Tour to try and rebound after a somewhat meagre visit to Germany recently.
57.
He's currently at 31st in the order of merit for the Development Tour because he does qualify for that as well. But I don't think it's going to be very easy to get towards the top of that because Luke
60.
Littler
Alexander
and Jan
Require,
van Veen,
170.
they're into 5 figures of earnings. I think that battle could be won and lost in the next few
134.
weeks.
But one thing there is the Youth World Championship, which could be a very interesting avenue here for Owen Bates to
59.
get a run in that
Alexander
event, or
Require,
even
36.
either up as something as a
Game shot on the third leg.
possibility.
Alexander Merckx.
This is the fastest game of the week so far because it's 5 minutes and 15 seconds for 3 legs. He's not going to break any
Four-legged Owen
records.
to throw first.
Youth World Championships has changed careers.
79.
And it will be the final of that tournament, not far from where he lives. The final is at Minehead
95.
in November. I'm sure we're going to see Owen before that. But what he's got to do between now and then is keep sharp,
85.
build confidence, make good decisions, and be happy.
97. $85.
Probably find little to be happy about in this match, though. 3-0 down to a man averaging nearly 100. He is 100% on the finishers.
And he has been very good in this group. A lot of attention has gone elsewhere. People thinking about Owen. People thinking about Białecki.
82.
But do not underestimate this guy because he will have you for breakfast. He's had some great displays in this group
60.
already.
Only require 170.
Had a 99 average yesterday against Paul Hogan. And he's been very decent tonight. 170 on.
145.
It's now
Alexander
Alex's
Require,
turn to
170.
see if he can do it to finish the game.
Well, Merckx came into tonight 7 to 1
57. Only
to
require
win this
25.
group. Right now, he is right in the mix. We're talking just leg difference at the moment. Only a couple of legs
9.
at that.
Alexander Require 113.
One of them could be about to close in.
57. Only requires
He's had a
16.
few trials and tribulations on these kind of doubles over the last couple of
Game shot on the
evenings.
fourth leg. Owen
He
Bates.
makes that one look simple. It's been anything but simple for this young man.
Fifth leg, it's Alexander to throw first. Game on.
Alex would like to get this done as soon as possible, just to conserve a little bit of energy for that final game against
60.
Sebastian. And it could well come down to those two when it comes to winning the group.
134.
Merckx gets to 10 via a win here. Belmont's already on 10 points.
91.
It might be between those two. What better way would it be to finish
85.
a game than a 350 in 2 visits? Is it too much to ask?
60.
Obviously.
You know, you're a big fan of those big conversions.
Yeah, I haven't had one.
58.
I wasn't in the chair for Andy Jenkins in 2021. I wasn't in the chair for Jim McEwen doing it. At the back end of
100.
last season. I'd love to get one.
He
140.
expected that, didn't he? The pace that he threw that last start, he just expected he was going to hit a 180, and he did it quite a lot in his last match.
57. Only
4
require 84.
against Stefan Belmont.
Definitely shackles off time.
59. Alexander require 133.
Looks downstairs. More people are starting to clue up to this, aren't they?
57. Only
This
require
133
25.
idea. a 57 first. I knew I'd get people doing it eventually.
9.
76
Alexander
then
requires
for 4-1
76.
in consecutive games. Double 18.
Game shot
Too
and
good
a
on this
match.
occasion.
Alexander
And Owen
Merckx.
Bates says goodbye for now to both referee and opponent and to all of us. All the very best to you in your immediate future, Owen. We'll see you soon. But as far as Alexander's concerned, he wins 4-1 and we'll see him in game 10. But not before we see Stefan Belmont and Paul Hogan finish their campaign in Group B.
Welcome back to the MODUS Super Series, where Owen Bates' campaign here at the Live Lounge has come to an end after a 4-1 defeat to Alexander Merckx. We wish him well going forward. We're going to see Alex in our final game of the session against Sebastian Białecki. But next up for us is a final match of the campaign for Paul Hogan. He takes on Stefan Belmont, who we're going to see in tomorrow night's final. Watching this one in the commentary box, Matt and Paul.
Yeah, penultimate game then. Let's see how
First,
Paul Hogan goes out.
First. Game on.
All of a sudden, the smile is back for Stefan. It's courtesy of him that Białecki and Merckx have got the job done with time to spare. He had to wait for it, Matt. That's for sure.
100.
He had a couple of wobbles before he got over the line.
He didn't start the day well. He started off with a 4-1 defeat to Alexander Merckx, who's really in the running here to actually win this group still.
100.
Białecki. 4-3 victory over Stefan Belmont. Then it was a last leg shootout. With Owen Bates
134.
that got him over the line.
So it is confirmed that 2 players who have played 5 days this week will go through to Saturday night.
100.
4 players playing one group. The endurance players being Belmont and Białecki. If you want to know their statistics
100.
and what they've done for the whole week, you'll have to tune in from 7:30 later on tonight. I'll give you all the insight prior to the
121,
mark,
167.
when the games will start shortly after 7:30. We'll give you some tips, we'll give you some insight, but ultimately the entertainment will come from these guys.
97.
Much better night, though, for Paul Hogan, who wasn't able to register a victory yesterday.
140.
with 3
Stephanie requires
victories.
70.
And that's more what we expect from Paul Hogan.
Like you said, the damage was done yesterday
50.
because he
Paul
has
required
played
40.
very effectively here tonight.
And that's the same for Stefan Belmont as well. He's not been that effective tonight, but the damage was done yesterday in terms of his position in the group.
Game shot on the first leg.
That was the double
Paul
that got him
Hogan.
over the line against Białecki in Game 7. Comes to his aid again.
Second against Paul to throw
Is he
first.
taking advantage
Game
of players who really have been put through the ringer over the last 5 days, who are maybe lacking a bit of energy? You're looking at someone
on.
who
85.
works very hard and plays a lot of late-night darts in Hampshire and Berkshire, year wide.
$91.
This is a skill, playing this late, isn't it? Because it's not a usual thing you have to do on a relevant tour. Think about the Pro Tour, for example.
140.
Tournament is finished by about 6:45, 7 o'clock at night.
Starting at 1 o'clock in the afternoon, which you think is a really good sort of peak time, because I
100.
think this extra hour, it used to be a 12 o'clock start. I think the extra hour just really helps so you don't have to feel like rushed around breakfast time in the morning, or so you can have that time, just have that little bit of a
84.
window in between.
So you're in agreement that the 1 o'clock start is better?
Oh, definitely.
I like the 12 o'clock start. But I love the 7:30 start on a Saturday night as opposed to our old time slot of 10 o'clock.
100.
I think that's fairer on the players. I think you get better levels of play from your competitors. I think it's better for the audience too.
140.
Many times we saw people winning weekly titles at around 2 o'clock in the morning. And they were struggling at the end.
60.
I know we have viewers from
required
around the world
52.
tuning in. It's not late for them. I've got a lot of good friends from New Zealand and Australia tuning in. The middle of Saturday. Double 16.
Game shot on the
His
second leg.
doubling has been
Paul
superb
Hogan.
so far tonight. 4 from 8 in his first game earlier against Owen Bates. 2 from
So look at
3 in
Stefan to
defeat
throw
against
first.
Merckx.
Game on.
And 4 from 7 against Białecki. Percentage-wise, it really is very good indeed.
57.
Something I said at the start of the night that I always associate with Paul Hogan, the ability to
60.
check out at a very good rate. Just sometimes what lets him down is those trebleless visits. Certainly
100.
put him into a position where it was almost unclimbable today. He's made a good effort at it. He's on course for 3 from 4.
Just to give you an indication of what he is
45.
percentage-wise for the night, 55% against someone who was 53% yesterday. This is pro rata, the best doubling performance
60.
by a player so far in this group. just a little bit too late. Sometimes when you have that bad day, you don't
60.
get any points. Coming back and then having that stronger day just makes you feel better about what you're doing after this. He'll feel good about his next tournament because today has been much improved.
57.
And he's probably enjoyed it. I can't imagine Paul Hogan not enjoying playing darts.
I think he'd have enjoyed it, but he'd also find it very frustrating in the fact of,
55.
why didn't I just get one win yesterday? Just one win keeps you in the running. It's when you come in after all 4 defeats that it's got to be perfect, and you kind of need things to go your way.
Is there any consolation for Hogan getting off the bottom of the table?
81.
Oh, absolutely. No one wants to finish bottom. I know it won't really matter to Paul Hogan, but I don't really strike him up with a guy who's very sort of social
99.
media or
Stephen, you're
group chats. But
146.
if you're in the wrong group chat, there are people that will take pictures of this and send you it.
Anybody in particular?
I can think of many people, but I don't think I'd like to name them.
Okay, fair enough. I'm not going to put you on the spot. I'll ask you later.
96.
I think we'd probably come up with the same names, to be honest.
You might be right. Considering who Paul has played with in his career, I think we can hazard a guess.
Stephen, you're requiring 50.
They've all played in the blue of Hampshire.
No score.
Oh, that's not good.
Paul, you require
That's exactly what Hogan
122.
wants. And he's got it.
72 scored, yeah. 74.
He was caught in two minds there.
Stephen, you're requiring
He should have
50.
asked the referee, then gone into motion. Change of plan. Very wise. Starting to get darts that are very
40.
low, and that was an
Paul, you
overcorrection.
require 48.
Low and at funky angles. You were saying about tiredness. Is that now a sign of the tiredness coming through
Game
for
shot on the
Stefan?
third leg.
Paul Hogan is ending the day well. 4-1 against Bieletsky in his last game. He's on course here for a 4-0,
4 against Paul to throw first.
which would
Game on.
make Alexander Merckx, the man who was 7-1, quite a fancy for winning this group.
100.
Just going to have a little look at the end of the campaign for Stefan Belmont, Group A, to see whether he tired
60.
towards the end of that. He did actually lose his last 2 games 4-0. One to Tommy Lishman, where he only got 2 darts at double.
41.
And lost 4-0 to Andy Bolton. That was the game that qualified Bolton through the group. He needed to win 4-0 in that contest to get it done with 4 games to spare.
140.
So there is form for this, where he is tired towards the end of a campaign, whether it's 3 days or 2 days.
And that'll only be highlighted by the time of day here it is in the UK. Now, 1:45 in the morning.
100.
Well, Swiss time. 1:45 in the morning. And I don't care who you are. That's late.
100.
This is more like early in the week, Stefan Belmont. Does he have that level that is needed
130.
tomorrow night to win the weekly title?
We reckon 160.
He's got it because he's done it on the Challenge Tour and proven that. It's just, can he produce it
60.
when he needs to
Stephen
the
requires
most?
71.
Against the people that will be there. He's not gone up against a Hurrell or a Mitchell this week, who have been producing at a higher level than he has.
Game shot on the fourth leg.
But he is a very good
Stefan
doubler.
Belmont.
He won't go without a fight, that's for sure. That's his first hit at a double in 6
Fifth leg, it's
attempts in this
Stefan
game.
to throw first. Game on.
Who do you think the favourite is for tomorrow night? I think it's a really hard one to call because Bolton was the favourite for Group A.
140.
Mitchell was the favourite for Group C. They've both made it through. You've got the England captain there.
In terms of the bookies have gone Andy Bolton.
60.
And I've got to agree with that. Andy Bolton has to be the favourite. However, I don't think he's as much of a favourite as the odds suggested. Coming into tonight's play, Andy Bolton was the 13 to 8 favourite.
100.
I think that's a little short. Mitchell was available at 4 to 1. Horrell 11 to 2.
60.
Don't think there's much value in Belmont at 5s on the basis of what we've seen so far tonight. Certainly with the recent bit of evidence about the potential tiredness kicking in
140.
as we get to the back end of the days.
I'd have to agree. In tomorrow night's format, there's only going to be one person who's done it before. And I'm going to look at the people who have had the highest individual performances for the week. And that makes me look at Mitchell and Horrell. And Bolton. I think the winner comes from those three. I think you're right from what you said earlier.
It's like Paul Hogan
64.
tagged in last night's version of Paul Hogan.
Had a very bad time. He's only one leg away from finishing the job.
Game on the
He's going to have to
fifth
start
leg.
from scratch.
Stefan Belmont.
When
So
talking to
it's
Thomas
Paul to
Younghands
throw
earlier
first. Game
this
on.
evening, I said to him, I'll see you in Switzerland next year. The fact that they are getting their own European tour event is big news.
100.
His only word to me was, hopefully. It will be very difficult for the home nation qualifiers to get into that tournament. We don't know exactly how many spaces they will get,
60.
but it will be a very big deal when there's a tournament in Zurich next year. Ever been to Switzerland?
100.
I haven't, but it's somewhere I will be going in the near future, I believe.
One of our players in this group has won a ranking event in Switzerland. That's Alexander Merckx.
180.
Stefan's not going to go without a fight. Hogan is snapping a little bit more than he was in the last couple of legs.
95. $100.
For a moment there, I thought he was going to go to the 17s. Almost found his way through to another 140 in this match. They've got to see him
140.
until that visit.
161.
Good finale here from Paul Hogan. Trying to end with a bit of a bite. 66 points away.
99. Paul, you require
Winning 3 of
66.
his 4 matches today.
Surely treble 10. Try to leave 36.
48.
36 more he almost takes.
Stefan, you require 62.
We've seen a myriad of different routes for 62 here today. A lot of people using the 54 first. Not Stefan.
22.
Match point
Paul, you
Hogan.
require
And he's
80.
had plenty of looks at double 9 tonight.
Game
That's his
shot
last
and
double
a
9
match.
in
Paul
week 7.
Hogan.
And his last in Series 4 as well. He's eliminated, but Stefan Belmont relaxed, doesn't get the win, but will be here on Saturday night, but finishes his campaign in Group B with a 4-2 loss to Paul Hogan.
Welcome back to the MODUS Super Series, where we are joined by one of our qualifiers for tomorrow night's final in Stefan Belmont. Stefan, many congratulations on making it through to tomorrow night's final. How happy are you to qualify?
Thank you very much. It was a hard day for me, and the last 5 days was hard. I'm very, very happy. I play tomorrow on Saturday.
How much is it going to mean to you to play on Saturday night? Because you played here before, and it's the first time you qualified for the finals.
Yeah, this is my second time. The first time was not so good, and I play better. I play on Saturday. That's good for me.
Well, you showed us some really, really good stuff in Group B. What we're going to do is we're going to show you some of the moments, some of the really big moments from you in this group. We're going to begin by having a look at this 1-2-6 against Owen Bates. And one thing you did this week was these key checkouts, wasn't it? Really, really big moments.
Yeah, you say there's big moments. Today I play up and downs, and I hope I play tomorrow better.
How much are you looking forward to that occasion tomorrow night, knowing there's going to be an audience in here as well?
Yeah, I'm happy with more people inside here, and I give my best, and we see tomorrow.
Now you're in the final. How much do you believe you can win the finals tomorrow?
I believe in me. I can win this. I play here. I hope I give my best.
Well,
every time.
Well, Sebastian, many, many congratulations. Thank you for coming up and talking to us. We're going to see Stefan Belmont tomorrow night in the final. We're also going to see the other two players involved in this game in the finals tomorrow. Sebastian Białecki up against Alexander Merckx. And watching this one in the commentary box, Matt Edgar and Paul Nicholson.
Thank you very much. One more game in Group B then. And let's see how fast and fiery this can be. As Alexander Merckx now mounts an assault
Game
on possibly winning the group. He's up against Sebastian Białecki,
60.
who could finish on 10 points himself, but can't win the group because of leg difference.
140.
The best he can do is +4, and Belmont is already at +6. So only Merckx can displace the Swiss player
140.
We saw earlier on Alexander Merckx played with a lot more pace in his game.
100.
I think that really suited him, and I think that's going to suit him in this one. We're going to get two players that will play with quite a lot of pace and rhythm here. And I think we're going to see
60.
a firework finish to our Group B campaign.
Some players have looked
57.
tired tonight towards the end. They have struggled in the heat a little bit, but this young man, not so much. Has he played his best tonight?
83.
Absolutely not. Has he really stuck in there and stayed strong? Absolutely right.
100.
He
Sebastian
had a great day on Wednesday at
158.
winning 10 points from 10. But he's worked very hard to make his way to Saturday night for a third consecutive
100.
time.
Alexander Merckx, 104.
He is perfect in qualifying.
Game
Oh,
shot in the
so
first
good.
leg. Alexander Merckx.
He's in a rush. He's got a cab waiting, apparently, doing things like that.
Second against
This is what I
Alexander
expect to see from this game. I just think it's really going to suit him. Remember what I said to you? The difference between being playing and
140.
sat in this chair. I said, as soon as you're playing, you want to win the group. It's not just a case of qualifying. I think Merckx is in that mindset now.
I agree.
57.
I think there's a lot of attention that has gone the way of other people, and we cannot forget about this guy
91.
because he's the one who's been there, done it, lifted the trophy, lifted the check, and has probably got a T-shirt to prove it.
95.
Are you sad that the novelty check has gone?
I was a big fan of that. Do like the giant novelty check.
60.
But I also like the trophy. It's a nice little cup, that one.
It is. It's a bit heavy as well.
140. 140. 140. 140. 140. 140. 140. 140. 140. 140. 140. 140. 140. 140. 140. 140. 140. 140. 140. 140. 140. 140. 140. 140. 140. 140. 140. 140. 140. 140. 140. 140. 140. 140. 140. 140. 140. 140. 140. 140. 140. 140. 140. 140. 140. 140. 140. 140. 140. 140. 140. 140. 140. 140. 140. 140. 140. 140. 140. 140. 140. 140. 140. 140. 140. 140. 140. 140. 140. 140. 140. 140. 140. 140. 140. 140. 140. 140. 140. 140. 140. 140. 140. 140. 140. 140. 140. 140. 140. 140. 140. 140. 140. 140. 140.
I'm still convinced that these darts that he's got are
58.
Christopher Tyskie darts. They look way too similar to not be them. But maybe my eyes deceive me.
46. Alexander Rukh 152.
Slip from Sebastian Bielecki. Just hands Alexander Merckx another handful of darts here. Allows him the luxury of the setup play. So slip in the last dart into the 7. Leaves him on a bogey number. You cannot take out the 163.
59. Alexander Rukh 152.
Double 16, and he's been brilliant at it.
Game shot on the
Double 8
second
isn't
leg.
too bad either.
Alexander
That's the
Merckx.
halfway point in 3 minutes 24.
So look at Sebastian to throw first. Game
2
on.
legs in less time it takes than an elite 1500 meter runner doing that race.
82.
You spent a bit of time in
100.
the Netherlands and Belgium this year. Just how is darts being received in that country at the minute?
In Holland, I'd say it's exactly the same as it always is.
134.
Very, very well. One of the biggest sports over there for Holland.
91.
In Belgium, growing massively.
Why is that?
I honestly don't know. But it is taking off.
85.
And it is growing. They're getting local events. They had one not too long ago. 950 people turned up.
140.
It'll be interesting to see what happens when the WDF take over their ranking event in August. See what the numbers are like then.
Well, look at it this way.
44.
170
Alexander Rukh,
players
170.
in the Home Nation qualifier for the Belgian Darts Open recently in the PDC. 170 qualifiers.
100.
I've never seen anything like it.
156.
I've not seen anything like it since Holland all those years ago when that was a massively growing
60.
territory.
Yeah,
Alexander
I
Rukh
agree.
70.
Not to mention the fact that Belgium is such a hot topic that they're going to get a second European Tour event next year.
62. Sebastian
And
Rukh
Poland are getting a
96.
World Series event in the next few weeks. Double 18. Double 9 does not
78.
treat Białecki the same
Alexander
as
Rukh,
Paul Hogan.
8.
And Merckx needs 4s.
Game shot
3-0.
the third leg. Alexander Merckx.
The strength of darts in the Netherlands can be traced all the way
Fourth
back
leg is Alexander to throw first.
to the
Game
great
on.
Raymond van Barneveld when he started making lakesides in the mid-90s.
180.
He really does want to go out with a bang, doesn't he? First maximum. He's had 7 darts at a double and hit 3.
100.
Averaging mid-90s here is Alexander.
He
might be doing something else as well.
180.
What on earth is he up to?
It
may just be 3 more darts for the night. He really wanted to do that, and I don't blame him.
95.
He is racing to the finishing line. He's not going to break a fastest game record, but it might just be the fastest game of this week.
134. Alexander Rukh 46.
To win it. Just like
Game
that.
shot on the match.
6
Alexander
minutes
Merckx.
and 44 seconds to beat Sebastian Białecki by 4 legs to 0. 98.56 and 50% on the doubles with a high check-out of 104. And he got himself a couple of maxes in the end leg as well. That was a stunning display from Alexander. And just to cap everything off, he's only gone and won the group and denied Stefan Belmont that glory as well. Białecki finishes 3rd, Belmont finishes 2nd, Merckx is the top of the tree, and they will be the 3 going forward to join Mitchell, Hurrell and Bolton on Saturday night. That's enough from me, but we've got a little bit more from Henry and from Edgar on the balcony.
Thank you very much, Paul. Well, Alexander Merckx, we'll talk about his night as a whole in just a second, but that performance was incredible.
I thought he was going to do the 9-darter then as well, so I came running up the stairs because I didn't want to miss it at the end. I thought that game would really suit him, and it kind of did when we look at the stats and the averages there. Those pacier games really come into play, so it's going to be interesting to see how the groups break down to see who's going to be in his group, because if he likes those sort of pacier games, he's not going to want to come up against someone like a Scott Mitchell.
Well, let's have a look at the table then following the conclusion of Group B. Alexander Merckx then top of the pile on 12 points, but Stefan Belmont, when he won every single game on night one, and really that was kind of what got him over the line, because it was a bit of a struggle at times this evening.
We said about Paul Hogan, the damage was done yesterday. It's the same here for Stefan Belmont, but in the other way, that he did the hard work yesterday. Actually, he didn't really play well tonight. He gave away far too many opportunities, and he didn't take the ones that was presented his way, and he ended up sort of stumbling over the line. I stood up here at the start of the show and you asked me if I can oppose him at 2-5, and I didn't think we could. I asked Paul Nicholson the same question. We couldn't really find a way to genuinely oppose against Stefan Belmont, and he's been pipped at the post.
Sebastian Białecki, he could severely go under the radar tomorrow night, couldn't he?
I don't think he ever will. I don't think we'll ever let that happen. We're far too respectful of the talent that he's got, and he's done far too much in the game for him to ever really go under the radar. The second he starts playing something well, we'll jump straight on him as a real runner and rider, because I said something at the very start of this show. Reputation. He's already built a strong one.
As for Owen Bates, we've labelled a lot of expectation on his door. The fact that he hasn't qualified for tomorrow's final, will you look at that as a bit of a disappointment?
He might, but I don't think we will, because we know it's a journey. We know he's very young in that journey. You know, he's took a big time away from the game. He's not been playing the game again for that long, so the level of success that he's had might even be seen as an overachievement for where he possibly thought this year was going to go.
Well, let's see how the brackets break down then as far as tomorrow night is concerned at the Super Series. These are the two groups in play. Now, to be honest, you can look at both of them and they are absolute horror draws. To begin with Group 1, Bolton, Hull, Belmont.
I don't think these 6 players would really have split down in a way that we could say that's an ideal group to be in, because again, reputation of all the 6 players is absolutely there. I think one thing that really stands out for me, and it's purely on the basis of what I said the second I got here, because I didn't know how these groups was going to go, is when we look at Group 2, Alexander Merckx, I said the pace is suiting him. He's not going to want to play one of the slow players. He's arguably got the slowest player we've got here this week in Scott Mitchell.
Tell you what, this has got the potential to be one of the great nights under this roof when you look at the talent on the show and some of the things we've seen this week.
You said it there, great nights. We've had good nights, we've had competitive nights, we've had close nights, we've had nights we can't really call, but what we've got here is we've got 6 players who could really hit top standards, and statistically wise, drama wise, give us a really good show.
Right, after what happened earlier, no hugging on the final link, because we are going to leave you for now at the MODUS Super Series. We're going to be back tomorrow night, 7:30 is when we're going to kick proceedings off on the YouTube channel before going live on Sporty Stuff TV at 10 p.m. this evening. Well, as far as Group B was concerned, Alexander, he was the greatest. We'll see you tomorrow night.